8 before we go into the repechage at 10:48 local time. The chances for yesterday's crews in the heats who didn't directly progress to the next stage of the competition to do so. In all cases, that would be through to the semi-finals. So we'll be getting underway in just under 5 minutes with Heat 1 of the men's Coxed 4.
Добро утро и от мен. 5 минути ни делят до началото на втория състезателен ден от днешната програма. Пък ще ви кажа какво ни предлага. Започваме с сериите в четворка с ролеви юноши, двойка без ролеви девойки, четворка без ролеви девойки юноши, четворка с девойки и осморка юноши. След това от 10:48 започват и репешажните серии, където с интерес ще следим българското участие, тъй като 10:48 нашата двойка без ролеви ще се изправи за място в полуфиналите АБ. От 11 часа четворка Скул, също българско участие, от 12 също Скиф с българското участие на Иван Йорданов.
So lining up at the start, it's Heat 1 of the men's Coxed 4. In lane 1, Italy, Emilio Papaletera, Simone Papalepore, Luca Vicino and Marco Vicino and Andrea Pagliaro. In lane 2, Germany, Maximilian Ketzel, Tom Thomas, Karl Skonina, Christoph Janatz and Elias Fabian. In lane 3, South Africa, Christoph Viljun, Zarat Mills, David Persson, Matthew Ward and Jaden Thompson. In lane 4, Croatia, Josip Bozic Jokic, Bartol Bukan, Ivan Augustinov, Matej Stilin and Lucas Poljak. And in lane 5, Turkey, Enver Erman, Serkan Erkal, Kaan Aydin, Ali Adil Ilgun and Ege Buketsin.
Дами и господа, вече ред и на първата серия от днешния състезателен ден. Дисциплината е четворка с ролеви. Първи коридор Италия, втори Германия, трети Южна Африка, четвърти Хърватия и пети Турция.
So just under a minute to go before the first race of day 2 gets underway, with Italy in lane 1, Germany in lane 2, South Africa in lane 3, Croatia in lane 4, Turkey in lane 5. This is the first heat of the men's Coxed 4. The first 2 across the line will make it through directly to the A final. The remaining crews will have a second opportunity with those old repechage. Of course, if you can cram across the line amongst the first 2, it means you miss out on having to go through that extra stage and can be all that much fresher for the semi-final. So just 15 seconds to go now until the crews get the go-ahead from the starter up at the start line, 2,000 meters away from us here in the finish tower. Once again, really glorious conditions. It'll be hot out on the water for the athletes, just a gentle breeze coming down the course as well to help them on their way. Well, they are underway now, just getting going, and it's a good start from all the crews. Turkey perhaps the quickest out of the blocks, and we have 2 teams of wonderful commentators out on the course for you, and they literally are out on the course as well, at least on the riverbank, or the lake shore. We've got Theodor Andreev and Colleen Seville at the 1,500 meter mark. And further up the course at 1,000 meters, we have Olympian Violetta Ninova, and she's joined by Kat Holloway. And Kat, it's another glorious morning here. What are you looking forward to seeing here?
Rob, what a glorious morning it is here again in Plovdiv. I'm really looking forward to these final heat races. We've got the 8s racing later on, and that's going to be really exciting. I'm also excited to see the kind of times the athletes are posting today, because the lake water is really warm and we've got this tail breeze blowing. Violetta mentioned it to me earlier this morning that we could be looking at some fast times today, so that's going to be one to watch on the clock later on as racing progresses. So here we are, the very first heat, and a really warm welcome to everybody listening online around the world, wherever you are. The Plovdiv course here, it's a really fantastic place to be today. Just to give you a clue, my vantage point here is from the top of the 1,000 meter tower. We've got this gentle breeze blowing, it's about 26 degrees. The athletes are warming up opposite me in the warm-up lane on the far side of the bank, and it's a really nice start to a second day of racing here at the Junior World Championships. So this race progressing now through the first timing point, and the fastest boat to 500 metres was the crew from Italy. They've gone through in 1 minute and 30 seconds, just about half a second ahead of Turkey.
Добро утро и от мен. Наистина много хубаво време се очертава на гребния канал днес за сериите и репесажите. Преди всичко да очакваме с нетърпение нашите състезатели и да пожелаем на всички гребци един успешен ден. Сега да минем към първата серия при четворките с юноши. Към момента на 750 метра напред се очертават два екипажа. Това е на Италия и Турция. Италианската лодка, може би не в този състав, е била трета на първенството през 2019 година. В турската лодка също има състезатели с голям опит, така че двете лодки като че ли са откъснали другите поне с една. Първите две лодки от тази серия ще влезат директно на финал А.
So the first coxed race of the regatta, and we can really hear the sound of this regatta. These coxswains urging their crews on, the coaches on the bank on the far side of the course. Really exciting racing here to kick off this final stage of heats at the regatta. Italy still have the lead here at 1,000 metres. Turkey are moving along really well here in lane 5. These two crews with clear water now over the rest of the field. It's Germany hunting them down in third place. Croatia also moving well, and South Africa in touch, but with just two crews to go through to the final. Italy and Turkey have pulled out this lead of clear water in the first half. Both crews looking really aggressive. 38 strokes a minute from Italy, 37 from Turkey. What a fabulous start to this second day of racing. So Colleen, you're up there at 1,500 metres. The crew's coming down in sight of you, and you're going to hear this cacophony of coaches on the bank opposite you. It's a really exciting start to the racing today.
Yeah, thanks very much, Kat, and good morning to everyone tuning in. I'm here with Teodor Andreev, and we're positioned at the 1,500 meter down, the 500 to go. And that's exactly right, Kat. Italy, they've led from the beginning. They built speed in the second 500. It's exactly what they're doing now in the third quarter. Turkey doing a good job, though, of keeping close to them. As we know, it's just top two to final A, and it's looking at the moment like Italy and Turkey.
Наближавайки 1500 метра имаме две по-сериозни заявки за директна промоция към финала от страна на Италия и Турция, но пък това не прави състезанието по-малко интересно, тъй като още след като минаха моста лодките можеше да се чуят ролевите и треньорите. Бих казал една от най-шумните гонки, може би е това, заедно може би с осморките. И така, навлизайки в последните 500 метра, лодките на Турция и на Италия като че ли с повече от лодка и половина преднина пред третите, все по-спокойно се приближават към А-финал.
And so they're now through the 500, and for the first time, Turkey leads Italy. Just such a close margin between these two crews. So at the 500, Turkey was second. They moved into first. Now they're back into second. So truly, Italy and Turkey just trading positions here. Now, in the Italian boat, the bow seat, Emilio Papalaterra, he raced in the under-23 men's straight for last month in Repechages at the under-23 championship, where he and his crew finished 8th overall. So he's been building speed all season. He was in the men's straight for, so the same event in Tokyo at the juniors in 2019. So great pedigree, especially in the bow seat. And Rob, as they're coming towards you, it looks like perhaps that's really helping Italy gain some momentum because they're back in first into the last 250.
Yes, Colleen, still some way to go for these crews, but as they now pass through the start of the Red Boys, it is looking good for Italy. They and Turkey are definitely going to be the two crews who will make that direct progression. The other crews, I reckon, certainly looking at the Germans, sensing that they're not going to make direct qualifications, just easing off now to save some energy for the inevitable repechage that they will face. But it's Italy who coming up to the line to take this race in first place, 3/4 of a length ahead of Turkey in lane 5. So it's Italy followed by Turkey. They're directly through to the A final. Coming home in third now, it's Germany with South Africa and Croatia. Those three crews will be contesting the repechage.
Атрактивно започва този втори състезателен ден и първата ни серия четворка с ролеви място и директно на финал А се класира лодката на Италия и на Турция. Лодката на Италия завърши първа с време 6:16:58, второ място за Турция. Останалите лодки на Германия, Южна Африка и Хърватия ще търсят реализацията си чрез репешаж.
So on to Heat 2 of the men's Cox 4. It's the USA in lane 1, coxed by Sami Hudaigi. In lane 2, Switzerland, coxed by Lynn Albert. In lane 3, Russia, Daniel Kuranev at cox. In lane 4, France, Lucie Mercier coxing them. And in lane 5, Ukraine, Karin Biletska, the cox.
Продължаваме с втория серия от същата дисциплина, четворка с ролеви юноши. Първи коридор за Съединените щати, втори Швейцария, трети Русия, четвърти Франция и пети Украина.
Well, Kat, we saw this a few times yesterday. Really difficult to separate, well, certainly the front four crews, but maybe all five here are pretty tight.
Yeah, Rob, this is a close race here with these 5 crews. Leading right now, they're coming through 750 metres. It's the USA leading, 38 strokes a minute from the USA. They're up on the far side of the course in lane 1 and being challenged really hard by both France and Ukraine on this side of the course, lanes 4 and 5. These crews had a flying start. It was a French crew that went through the first marker in the lead ahead of Ukraine and the USA. The USA have pushed through in the second quarter of the race to take the lead. It was a really close battle there. USA using this rate at 38 strokes a minute, being urged on by their coxswain Sami Hudaigu and moving really, really well to the second timing marker.
Близо 1000 метра вече наближават втора серия на четворките с. Тук нещата съвсем не са ясни, като в първата серия. До 750 метра начело бяха Съединените щати. Те ще преминат първи и през 1000-метровата отметка. На втора позиция обаче, като че ли за сега нямаме сигурно, Франция и Украина си разменят позициите лодка за лодка. Виждаме атака и на лодката на Русия. Второто място, което дава директно право за попадане в финал А. Тук не е сигурно. И за сега начело е лодката на Съединените щати, следвано от Франция и Украина.
So again, 2 crews to go directly through to the A final from this heat of the men's Coxed 4, and we've got 2 boats fighting it out for second place at the moment. The crew from the USA seem to have moved clear, but side by side we've got France and Ukraine, and it's a real battle developing between these 2 crews, Colleen. So USA still at 38 strokes a minute as they come towards you.
Yeah, that's right, Kat. They're now moving through the third quarter, and it's just phenomenal. Theodore and I positioned here at the 500 to go, and you can hear the coxswains from a good 250 meters away urging their crews on. The crew that's leading is still the USA, coached by Andrew Hess, and I know for the Americans, this is one of the sort of favored boats. Had a chance to chat with Eric Gerke, one of the other men's coaches, and he said that these athletes average about 6:08 to 6:09 over 2,000 meters on the erg. So a lot of sheer power in this boat, and they're making that rhythm work for them, still out in head. And then the battle for second, well, that's definitely still on between France and the Ukraine.
Продължавайки Съединените американски щати да увеличават своята преднина, битката за второто място става все по-интересна и по-интересна, още повече, че и двата екипажа са в съседни коридори и то най-близко към нас, от към трибуните, така че съм сигурен, че финалните метри ще предложат доста по-интересни емоции от предната гонка.
And now well through the 500-meter mark and on their way to the line. France making the best of it, just about half a length lead or so over the Ukraine. I think we can expect these two shells to battle all the way to the line, but the USA moving nice and smoothly out of lane one. Again, we saw them come by, good leg press, good swing coming out of that shell. They're up at 38 strokes per minute. The Ukraine comparatively down at 32, so not quite using the rate to their advantage. They're coming towards the final 250-meter mark, the red buoy zone. It's looking good for the USA, still at that 38, and France holding second at about 34 strokes per minute. Rob, for me, the question is, can we expect a sprint out of the Ukraine in lane 5? They're down at 32, so they've got somewhere to go. We'll ask you to tell us what it's looking like from the tower.
Yeah, as you say, some way to go for that team from Ukraine. Also for the Swiss, the cowbells are really out in force today. The Kuhglocke, or la Sonnerie, I believe in French. Cloche de Vache. It could be a literal translation, but let's concentrate on just what's happening here. As we come down to the finish line, it is the USA. They're going to take this very comfortably out there in lane 1. USA coming home to take this first qualification spot for the A final, and France holding on to that second spot very comfortably, a couple of lengths behind the USA. So it's USA and France go through directly to the A final, where they know that they'll be meeting Italy and Turkey from the first heat, and that crew that you mentioned from Ukraine in lane 5, a fair way back, but they know that they have another opportunity to qualify through the repechage.
Дами и господа, финал на втората серия от дисциплината четворка с ролеви юноши. Другите две лодки, които ще видим на финала, които се класираха на първо и второ място, това са Съединените щати и Франция. Така че те заедно с Италия и Турция вече са сигурни финалисти. Останалите лодки ще търсят своето място чрез репешажите. Трето място в тази серия за Украйна, четвърто за Русия, пето за Швейцария.
We now move on to the heats for the women's pair. In heat 1, in lane 1, it's Switzerland. Lane 2, Italy. USA go in lane 3 alongside Spain. In lane 4, Russia. In lane 5.
Продължаваме с дисциплината двойка без ролеви. Първи коридор Швеция, втори Италия, трети Съединени американски щати, четвърти Испания, пети Русия.
So, Kat, what can you tell us about this race? I think my little screen just froze briefly, so I wasn't quite sure who was out in front, but it looks like USA, Russia leading the way here.
Yeah, it's a good shout, Rob. We've got the Russia in the lead here through this first timing marker, through 500 metres, 147.82 from the Russian crew, 36 strokes a minute. 2 lanes across from them, also at 36 strokes a minute, is the USA. They're currently riding in second place, just a half length behind Russia. That's the 1-2 at the moment. The third place crew is Spain, and they're followed hotly by Italy.
Върви и първата серия при двойките без девойки, и тук системата е същата. Първите две лодки влизат на финал А, което значи, че първите две места са особено важни. Към момента виждаме лидерство на лодката на Русия в пети коридор, като непосредствено след нея лодката на Съединените американски щати, но все още гонката е на 750 метра, което означава, че едва ли някой е загубил шанс за попадане в финала. Точно пред мен в момента виждам атака както на испанките, така и на лодката на Италия. Единствено лодката на Швеция като че ли е излязла от тази битка. И така 800 метра след началото 4 лодки имат шанс за попадане в финал, а това са Русия, Съединените щати, Италия и Испания.
The crews coming towards the halfway marker here to the 1,000-meter timing point, and it's a real battle between these first four crews. It's Sweden in lane one who are just slightly off the pace. I don't think they'll be qualifying directly for the A final. It'll be the repechage for them, but up here at the front of the race, Russia really had that advantage in the first stage, and they're being pushed so hard now by the USA and by Italy. Spain's still in touch here. It's four boats pretty much in a line. Really exciting heat here in the women's pairs. Just two of these boats are going to qualify directly for the A final. The other two will have to go through the repechage. So two heats in this women's pairs event. This being the first heat, two boats to qualify here, and we've got four boats in a line here as they move away from 1,000 meters.
Да, наистина, тук сме свидетели на една много, много интересна гонка, когато 4 лодки вървят, бих казала, много близко една до друга и не се знае кой ще успее да се класира до първите две места. Предполагам, че в последните 500 метра на дистанцията ще сме свидетели наистина на изключителен финал.
It's been a really strong move for Italy, Colleen, as they've come through this third quarter. Italy now starting to move clear of the other boats.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Kat. Italy, at the 500-meter point, they were running fourth and then coming through the 1,000 third, but they've had a really nice press as they move through.
Италянките, след като не успяха да се преборят в първите метри за по-челна позиция, направиха доста сериозна атака във втората половина на трасето и към момента са на първо място с немалка преднина пред останалите три лодки, които на своя сметка върват метър за метър всяка от тях.
And Italy continuing to lead now well through the third quarter and just approaching 500 to go. So again, built speed, especially in this third quarter of the race. Not necessarily the quickest off the line, but they'll be first to cross into the final 500 meters. And it's just so tightly packed. So two boats to qualify. There's four boats in contention, including Russia out of lane 5. So it's the USA holding first. We'll have times here in just a moment. It's Spain now running second. The USA right with them, and Russia as well.
След като в началото на състезанието италянките и испанките вървяха съответно четвърти и трети, сега вече разликата, състезанието изобщо се промени и съответно италянките са първи, а испанките успяват да разделят все още втората позиция с Съединените американски щати и не бих казал, че това е неочаквано, тъй като лодките на Испания и на Италия са единствените, в които и двете момичета са старша възраст. Както знаете, при годините, на които са тези атлети, една година не е никак малка разлика.
And Italy holding strong now at 37 strokes per minute, so it's looking really good for them to advance to that A final. The remaining crews, of course, will have to contest the repechage. It's getting ever so tight between Spain and the USA. This USA pair coached by Liz Trond, quite a well-known coach in the United States and a lot of history with a junior team in the junior program. It's Spain running second. Rob, they're coming towards you in the final stretch. The USA will have to go now.
Yes, they're getting a lot of support from the stands too. It's great to hear this here. And of course, we are allowed fans here, which is just great. 50% capacity here at the arena, which has been granted for these championships. But, well, what a race Italy have had, moving all the way up from 4th at 500, 3rd place at 1,000, leading the way home now ahead of Spain. But there is still a real push coming from the USA. The crowd here seem to be almost picking up their boat and chucking it down towards the finish line. Italy are going to come home in first place, but it's a real race here for that second qualification spot between Spain and the USA. Russia well outside it now, and it is Italy who take first place. They salute their victory as well. And coming home in second place, oh, it's really tight. It just might have been the Russian crew who took it ahead of Spain. I'll wait for the official result to come through. It is indeed Italy, then Russia. So my apologies for calling them out of the race a short while ago. But it's Italy and Russia who are through directly to the A final. And that means Spain, USA and Sweden will have to go via the repechage. What a fabulous race. A lot of changes there.
Изключително спорвана битка, особено за второто място в тази серия от дисциплината двойка без ролеви. Първо място за лодката на Италия, но пък битката за второто място, което дава промоцията за финал А, беше доста оспорвана между Русия и Испания. В крайна сметка Русия с финален спринт завърши втора. Трета позиция репешаж остава за Испания, също репешаж за Съединените щати и Швеция.
On to the second heat of the women's pair. Germany taking up lane 1 alongside Romania in lane 2, Chile are in lane 3 and France in lane 4.
Програмата продължава с втора серия от същата дисциплина. Първи коридор Германия, втори Румъния, трети Чили и четвърти Франция.
Well, they're making good progress here. They're almost upon you, Kat, at the 1,000-metre mark. What's the story here?
Rob, the story is that it was a great start for Germany. The duo of Annie Kotitz and Lena Gressens, they reached the 500-metre mark in the lead, and then they've been rode through by Romania now. So Romania have the advantage at this point at 1,000 metres, and it's close behind them between Germany and France. Chile also in the mix. So just 4 boats in this heat, 2 of them to go directly through to the A final. We're really in for another tight heat here. This tail breeze, I think, is making for close racing. We can really feel it here at 1,000 metres. It's a gentle breeze, but it's blowing directly down the course. And it's, I think, bringing these crews closer together in this racing. That's the tendency for this kind of tailwind. So it's going to be an exciting second half here.
Ще сме свидетели наистина много интересна гонка и във втората серия на двойката без девойки. След прекрасния старт германките като че ли не можаха да задържат първата позиция. В момента към 1250 метра начало са лодките на Румъния и Франция, като Германия и Чили, даже Чили в момента тръгва на атака. Германия и Чили са само половин лодка отзад. Отново имаме ситуация, в която 4 лодки се борят за 2 места за директно попадане в финал. Много интересна гонка предстои последните 500 метра.
Coming towards you, Colleen, Romania and France fighting it out up there. Romania at 35, France at 33.
Yeah, it's incredible, Kat, isn't it? They're moving through the third quarter, and you can hear the coaches on their bicycles just shouting and urging these crews on. We know that the the junior women's pair has a lot of depth in this category, so there's a lot on the line for these athletes. And indeed, France out of lane 4 has now taken the lead over Romania, running second. Those are our 2 qualifying positions. Then it's over to Chile out of lane 3, and Germany now running 4th, ever so tight.
Наближавайки 1500 метра, този път сме свидетели на истински интересна гонка, в която все още абсолютно нито един отбор не е отписан. Сами видяхте на 1000 метра и 4 лодки минаха в по-малко от 2 секунди, а местата, които биха дали промоция директно към А-финал са само 2, така че може би ни очакват още по-интересни последни 500.
And they're just coming by the 500 meter to go. France looking really solid out in front. Certainly overlap truly with positions 1 through 3. Maybe a little bit of clear water back to Germany. France holding the lead, but taking a look at Chile. Chile trying to make some kind of a push. The Romanians are holding on to that second qualifying position, but we'll keep an eye on Chile. They're up at 36. That's exactly where the Romanians are. And then Germany a little bit lower, down at 30 strokes per minute, perhaps knowing that they're not in a position to qualify directly at this point.
Наближавайки червените бочки, вече има един отбор, който бих казал, може би се отказа от преследване на директна промоция, но за сметка на това битката за второто място е все по-жестока, като двете лодки на Чили и на Румъния са в една лодка разлика, движат се с еднаква скорост и с еднакво темпо и предстои да видим коя от двете ще бъде по-силната.
And Romania still holding on to that second qualifying position. France holding on to the advantage, 35 strokes per minute, looking so solid. Romania and Chile, well, the margin just getting a little bit bigger here. So if Chile wants to capture that second qualifying position, they'll need to kick it up now. At the moment, though, Rob, as they close into the final 250 meters, it's looking really good for France. And then we'll see if Chile has something in them. But right now, that second spot would go to Romania.
Absolutely, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Chilean crew decide to do here, whether they still want to make that push to try and get the better of Romania in second place, or whether they do what Germany have seen to do a long time back, and that is just head down to the finish and conserve their energy for the repechage, and that will give them their next opportunity to qualify for the semi-finals. So coming down then for the finals. Coming down to the finish line, it is France in first place, looking really comfortable here, but it's a really great race still for that second place, and Chile are battling through. I think Chile are going to take this ahead of Romania. Chile coming down to the line. They just take it by less than half a canvas ahead of Romania. That's a terrific race from the Chilean crew. Congratulations to them. So it is France and Chile who go through directly to the A final, where they will meet Italy and Russia. I'm just going to wait for final confirmation. Yeah, that has come up. So Romania and Germany will go again in the repechage.
И в тази втора серия битката за второто място беше доста оспорвана. В крайна сметка финал А директно с първото си място за Франция с време 7:27:89. Второто място напълно заслужено за Чили. Третото място е за Румъния, четвърто Германия.
We now move on to the heats of the women's four. Progression here is the first two across the line into the A final. It's Greece in lane 1, Romania in lane 2, Belarus in lane 3, France in lane 4, the USA taking up lane 5.
Дами и господа, продължаваме с дисциплината четворка без ролеви девойки. Първи коридор Гърция, втори Румъния, трети Беларус, четвърти Франция и пети Съединените щати.
Kat, they must be almost alongside you.
Yeah, they are. They are indeed, Rob. They're just coming underneath this bridge here that's right by the 1,000-metre mark. USA having a really strong showing in the first half of this heat. This women's four, really powerful unit in the stroke seat. Paris, Burbin, taking them up to a rhythm, 36 strokes a minute. Looks really solid in this boat. Right back from them, the Romanian crew, 2/3 of a length down. Alongside them also France. So with two crews to go through, we've still got a battle to contend with here in the second half of this race to determine who those crews are going to be.
И в тази серия на четворките без жени ситуацията е същата. Имам предвид, че две лодки ще се класират директно на финала и тук сме свидетели на една битка между три лодки към момента за влизане в първите две позиции. Начело с малко е лодката на Румъния, на Съединените щати, извинявайте, а лодките на Румъния и Франция вървят рамо до рамо на втора позиция. Не са изостанали и в първи коридор гъркините, които в момента тръгват да дигат финал. Предполагам, че ще сме свидетели на много интересна втора част на дистанцията, където вече ще се уточни кой ще влезе директно на финала.
Coming through this third quarter now, Colleen, USA have got clear water now over the rest of the field.
Yes, they have. They're now just coming towards us. They're through the 1250, approaching 500 meters to go. It's the USA continuing to hold that advantage at 36 strokes per minute. But I'm quite impressed with the French out of lane 4. They've managed to pass Romania, overtake Romania. Now they're holding on to what would be a qualifying position. So as they come through the 500, it's the USA holding first, and it's France now in second, with Romania running third.
Наближавайки последно 500, продължава да води лодката на Съединените американски щати, макар и не с много. А второто място бих казал, че все още има интрига за него. Интересното тук е, че французойките вече имат на второ място имат преднина пред третите с една лодка, а в лодката на Франция предносовата, която всъщност е и най-високата момиче в лодката, е все още втора младша възраст. И предстои пред нея още 2 години състезания за юноши и девойки, така че доста впечатляващо от тяхна страна, имайки предвид, че те продължават лека по лека да увеличават своята преднина пред Румъния, тъй като в момента продължават да се движат по-бързо от тях.
So it's looking really good for France now to capture one of those qualifying positions again, earning the right to skip the repechage, advance directly to Final A, and then of course the USA still holding on to that advantage. I know the US team is really working on exposing their young athletes to more complex boats like the straight four and the quad, not just the big boats like the 8 or the coxed fours. So that work, I think, paying off here, and we're seeing it in this first heat. So, Rob, they're coming towards you in the final stretch. The USA out, still impressed with France because they're continuing to move, so they're even closing in on the States. Let us know what you can see from the tower, though. How close are they?
Yeah, it is looking very tight. We're slightly head on at this stage, but it is looking pretty tight here. But USA still looking good, and the French looking strong as well for that second qualification spot. They may even push through the USA here. But either way, it looks like these are the two crews that will most certainly qualify for the A final of the women's four. Just coming down then, the last few strokes, it looks like the French want to put down a marker. USA are challenging strongly here. It's going to be a really tight finish here, really tight. France are coming through. France take it by the merest of margins. It's France in first place. What a great morning the French are having here. They are through to the A final, along with the USA who come through in second. Romania, Greece, Belarus, well, they will contest the repechage.
Все по-спорване стават гонките в това световно първенство, а и няма как. Най-добрите младежи, юноши и девойки са тук. И така в тази серия от дисциплината четворка без ролеви, първо място и участие в финал А за лодката на Франция. Само 23 стотни на второ място след тях, но също промоция за финал А е за лодката на Съединените американски щати. Румъния, Беларус и Гърция остават на репешаж.
So we move on to Heat 2 of the women's four. Canada in lane 1, Italy in lane 2, Germany lane 3 and Poland in lane 4.
Продължаваме с дисциплината четворка без ролеви девойки. Първи коридор Канада, втори Италия, трети Германия, четвърти Полша.
So 750 meters gone. It's another close race. Certainly the front two seem to be asserting themselves, Germany and Italy. Kat, how do you see it?
Yeah, they're doing really well. They're at the front of the field, Rob. It's Italy with the advantage just at this point. It was 0.36 seconds when they came through 500 metres. It'll be interesting to see what that is at 1,000 metres as they've been moving so well during this second quarter. 38 strokes a minute from the Italians. Their their stroke woman, Elisa Grisoni, really putting down some rhythm here in the stroke seat. And it's given them now almost a length's advantage over Germany. So I think we're going to see that time increasing the margin between first and second as they come through 1,000 metres. So 2 to go through to the A final. And it's looking great right now for Italy and Germany.
1000 метра минават девойките в втората серия на четворки без. Една лодка отпред убедително води отборът на Италия, малко по-високо по темпо поддържат италианките 38. След тях плътно е лодката на Германия и на трета позиция към момента е лодката на Канада. Естествено имаме още цели 1000 метра и не се знае дали канадките няма да атакуват втората позиция, която ще им даде право за попадане в финал А, но към момента като че ли тази гонка е много по-спокойна от предишната и имаме очертани две лодки, които към момента имат реален шанс да попаднат директно в финала. Това са Италия и Германия.
Coming through 1,200 metres towards Eucaline, Italy still leading the way, Germany a length behind, and they've established a good lead now over Canada.
Yeah, they're looking really strong, Kat, aren't they? Up at 37 strokes per minute. So the Italians never afraid to use the stroke rate to their advantage. They typically row it quite high and aggressively. That rhythm really working for them, and I'm excited to see them as they just pass by us through the 500. They're not quite there yet, but it's looking from where we're sitting like a really nice swing from the Italians. Good layback, good acceleration through the drive, and it's pushing them out and giving that advantage. The Germans holding on to that second qualifying position, maintaining contact, so just about 14 or so meters separating these two crews. And then it would take a bit of effort, I'm afraid, for Canada or Poland to put themselves into what would be a qualifying position.
Наближавайки четвърто 500, имаме два претендента отново за първите две места, които биха ги класирали директно на финал А. Бих казал, че лодката на Италия, не само защото върви първа, е доста впечатляваща, тъй като В тази лодка има само едно момиче, което е в възраст девойки втора старша. Има две, които са първа старша и предносовата, както и във френска, носовата е втора младша, така че доста сериозна заявка за добро класиране не само тази, ами и в следващите години от страна на италянките, които все по-спокойно, с най-високо темпо и с най-висока скорост продължават да се доближават лека по лека към този А-финал.
So the Italians still holding on to that lead. They're solid 37, so clearly their race strategy to row it and to stay there. And of course, in these straight fours, one additional responsibility of the bow seat, typically the bow seat, is to steer the shell as well. And in the Italian shell, that's Giorgia Schiattitella, just 16 years old, and she's presumably towing that sea, towing the boat with her foot. So that's how these athletes will steer, and just doing a fantastic job keeping them going directly down the race course, nice and straight. So the Italians still lead. Germany running second. Rob, they're just closing in on their final 250, 200 meters or so, and it's looking like the result is pretty clear here for lanes 2 and 3.
Yes, I think it has been for some time, hasn't it? I just sensed that Canada thought that their race was over a little bit further back, and along with Pope, like they haven't going to be making that direct progression, just easing off a little. But Italy and Germany coming down looking so strong, so confident, so determined as well at this stage. Germany still pushing through, still trying to make that Italian boat work for this win, and they really are doing that. But it's Italy who crossed the line in first place. It's a length ahead of Germany in second. Those are the two crews who will go and join France and the USA in the A final of the women's four. The remaining crews will have another chance, of course, in the repechage.
Лодката на Италия спечели правото си да бъде директно на финала с първо време 6:53.64. Второ място за лодката на Германия, които също ще видим на финал А, заедно с отборите на Франция и Съединените американски щати. За репешаж остават лодките на Канада, завършили на трето място, и Полша четвърто.
Well, we're now underway in Heat 1 of the men's four, with the USA in lane 1, Romania in lane 2, Greece in lane 3, Poland lane 4, Ukraine lane 5, Denmark in lane 6.
Дами и господа, програмата продължава с дисциплината четворка без ролеви юноши. Първа серия и първи коридор Съединени американски щати, втори Румъния, трети Гърция, четвърти Полша, пети Украина, шести Дания.
It'll be interesting to see how fast this race is, with the conditions being, as you said, Kat, pretty favourable for good times, and again, a really, really tight race as they head towards you.
Yeah, what a race here, Rob, for this first heat of the junior men's fours. Just one of these boats will qualify directly for the A final. And Greece shot out of the blocks. So did Ukraine. Ukraine were fastest to the first timing point. Greece just have a slight advantage here as they come towards 1,000 metres. And this Greek boat's moving really, really nicely. They've got a fantastic rhythm here. It's really sharp. Beautiful finishes from them. They've got 2/3 of a length lead here at 1,000 metres, but it's still pretty tightly packed. I'm interested to see this time. So 3:03 to the 1,000. It's a pretty fast time, but I don't think we're looking at a world best here during this heat. And the Greeks moving away now, continuing to hold on to that lead.
1250 метра наближават лодките при четворка без юноши. Само първото място дава право за директно попадане на финал тук в тази серия. След хубавия старт на Украина и първо място на 500 метра, украинската лодка изостана и към момента наблюдаваме лодката на Гърция, която е на челна позиция с едно много хубаво чисто гребане, височко темпо поддържат гърците, но имаме все още 1200 метра, извинявайте, имаме все още 750 метра да видим какво ще се случи в втората половина на дистанцията.
Colleen, they're heading your way. Greece still up at 38 strokes a minute.
That's right, Kat, 38 strokes per minute. And continue to watch Greece's speed. As we've mentioned, we have tablets that give us the speed of each crew, meters per second, along with their stroke rate. And this Greek crew just moving so nicely through the water, the fastest on the course, maybe not at the moment anymore, but they really have been. So getting the job done with a lot of power. They're just coming by us at the 500 to go. Really nice swing, but overlapped just with them are the Romanians. And now, as we know, it's just one to qualify for Final A, so not quite in a position to qualify.
Навлизайки в последни 500, тази гонка леко ми прилича на Балканско първенство, гледайки в челото, тъй като лодките на Румъния и на Гърция се бият, така да се каже, за това единствено място, което би дал промоция директно за финал без участие на репасаж. Лека преднина за гърците, но пък румънците изостават с по-малко от една лодка и на няколко пъти през дистанцията бяха с по-висока скорост от своите съседи по коридор от Гърция, а все още има достатъчно време за финал и нищо не е ясно.
The Greek holding on to that 38, and they bring it up to 39 strokes per minute, moving on really well as they cruise towards the finish line. It would take quite a bit of effort, I'm afraid, for Romania to catch them at this point. It's one crew to advance to Final A. Romania at 37 strokes per minute with a bit of a gap. So this Greek crew, Rob, will have to watch how they progress through the week because they've had quite the heat, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have. They pretty much took control of this race from about, 800 meters? And they've held on to that first place all the way down. But all the way down, they have been pushed by the Romanian crew. They're just dropping back now. Greece are really making this race their own. They're taking control here. Denmark are also making a really good push in the near side lane. But it's going to be Greece who take the single qualification spot for the A final. Greece come through. Terrific win for them. Romania come home in second and Poland in third. So Greece directly through to the A final. We'll see the other crews in action again tomorrow morning.
Продължаваме да наблюдаваме оспорвани серии, както тази първа от дисциплината четворка без ролеви юноши. Първо място и финал А за лодката на Гърция. Второ място и вече място чрез репешажите ще търсят реализация Румъния, на второ място трето Дания, четвърто Полша, пето Съединени щати и шесто Украина.
Just give you the time was 6:12.78, just to give you a rough idea. The World Championship best 5:47.73. So just gives you a vague comparison of conditions and speeds here compared to the world's best. So we now move on to the second heat of the men's four. Serbia in lane 1, Croatia in 2, Germany in lane 3, in lane 4 Spain, lane 5 Switzerland and lane 6 Italy.
Продължаваме с втора серия, четворка без ролеви юноши. Първи коридор Сърбия, втори Хърватия, трети Германия, четвърти Испания, пети Швейцария и шести Италия.
So heading down now to 600 meters. Again, it's a good start from all six crews here. Kat, paint the picture for us if you would.
Yeah, it's another really nice heat here. We're really having a great start here from the Spanish crew. They've moved on really well in the first 500 meters, taking that timing point just ahead of Germany by 0.14 seconds. And we're continuing to see that battle between these two crews as they move down the course. Of course, just that one qualifying slot direct to the A final. The other crews will be contesting the repechage.
Наблюдаваме поредната много силна и интересна гонка при четворките без юноши. Към момента не мога да определя на место коя лодка точно е напред със сигурност. Почти едновременно вървят лодките на Германия, Испания и Италия, така че мога да кажа, че те са взели челни позиции, като към 1000 метра една идея напред е германската лодка, но нищо не е свършило и никой не е сигурен в тази гонка, че ще се класира на първо място, което му дава право директно в финал. Сега наблюдаваме силна атака на испанците и те ще преминат първи 1000-метровата отметка, следвани от Германия, плътно за тях Италия. Тези три лодки ще трябва много да се постарят във втората половина на дистанцията, защото наистина вървят една до друга плътно. Виждаме, че и Швейцария не се е предала за вземане на тази позиция.
Moving away from halfway, Spain still lead this, still at 37 strokes a minute, as are Germany. Italy also pushing hard here in lane 6, closest to our commentary point. They're up at 38 strokes a minute. They're moving the boat on really smoothly. Colleen, they're coming towards you. It's just one crew to go through. Spain have led since the start and continuing to lead through this third quarter.
That's absolutely right, Kat, and I'm impressed with this Spanish crew comparing times to the prior heat. They were quicker than Greece to the 500, about 5 seconds faster than Greece to the 1,000. Germany quicker than Greece as well, just sort of comparative times there. Spain continuing to hold the momentum. They're up at 37 strokes per minute. They haven't slowed down since they shot out of the gate. So it's Spain, and now I think Germany will need to decide if they really want to go for that one qualifying position, or if they'll kind of accept in the third quarter that it's looking like they'll finish second. At the moment, though, Germany keeping it up at 36, 37. They're keeping the pace on, and Spain just coming by us with such great momentum as they move into the last quarter.
Наближавайки последни 500, бих казал, че интересът в тази гонка леко се поуби, тъй като тя беше много интересна до може би 1000 метра, когато три лодки влезнаха в по-малко от секунда и половина, но много силно трето 500 от страна на испанците, които дори в момента държат най-високата скорост, значително по-висока от Германия и съвсем малко по-висока от тази на Италия, но пък италианците вече изостават с може би 2 лодки и повече от испанците, а испанците продължават да ви държат и високо темпо, така че бих казал, че няма как да се откажат да преследват директната промоция към финал в тази втора серия четворки без юноши.
So Italy then moves past Germany, Italy running second. So Spain holding that first qualifying position. Italy kicks it up to 38 strokes per minute, but they've got quite a bit of margin that they would need to make up to take it from Germany. As they come charging through the last 250 meters, well, it continues to be Spain. Again, great rhythm that they set out of the blocks. They carried it through the middle 1,000, and they're now taking it with them to the line. It's got to feel pretty good for Spain, Rob, as they come into this final stretch.
Yeah, and they seem to be stretching their lead too, don't they? They, as you say, have led all the way. This has been a really super race for the Spanish crew here. And here they come down to line very comfortably. As if you didn't know, you can probably hear there is a Swiss crew on the water because the old Kuhglocker, the cowbells, are ringing out loud and clear, which is always very entertaining. But here we go, Spain coming through miles ahead of the chasing pack. They will qualify for the A final along with Greece from Heat 1. And coming home in second place, a good couple of lengths, maybe even 3 further back, is Italy in lane 6. Third place now, it is Switzerland.
Финална втора серия от дисциплината четворка без ролеви юноши. Първо място и финал А за лодката на Испания. Репешаж следва за останалите лодки. Второ място Италия, трето Швейцария, четвърто Германия, Хърватия и Сърбия.
So we're now moving on to the heats of the women's quadruple sculls. Russia are in lane 1, the Czech Republic in lane 2, Germany in lane 3, Hungary in lane 4, Poland lane 5, Canada lane 6.
Програмата продължава с първа серия от дисциплината четворка скул девойки. Първи коридор Русия, втори е Република Чехия, трети Германия, четвърти Унгария, пети Полша, шести Канада.
So early stages, perhaps the early leaders might be Germany, but it's another really close start, certainly through the first 400 meters. Yet again, it'll just be the first across the line who makes it through to the A final. Kat, over to you.
Yeah, again, just one crew to go through, Rob, and Germany currently riding in first, but very early stages in this race. Germany at 37 strokes a minute out of the blocks. This German crew, Marlene Schollmeier, Johanna Davis, Lena Gutzer, Rebecca Falkenberg, really setting things up nicely at this early stage alongside the Czech crew who are just a couple of meters down on them. They're at 37 strokes a minute. So coming through this first timing marker, Germany 1:35.68 at this point in the race. So things starting to build in this race between Germany and the Czech Republic. The closest rival to them right now is Russia, with Hungary, Canada and Poland just behind.
Към момента 750 метра наближава първата серия при четворките скул-девойки. И в тази серия първия се класира директно на финал А. От второ място нататък лодките отиват на репесажи. От началото на дистанцията много хубав старт на лодката на Германия и към момента тя все още е на челни позиции. Казвам все още, защото наистина много близо и много добре се движат лодката на Канада в шести коридор и лодката на Чехия във втори коридор непосредствено до Германия. И така лодките преминаха 750 метра. Все още е малка преднина на германките, но всичко ще се реши явно, както във всяка гонка във втората половина на дистанцията. Забелязваме, че нито Канада, нито Чехия са се отказали от атака на първата позиция.
The crew's just coming now ahead of the 1,000-meter timing marker. It's very precise and tight sculling from the German crew. They've used that technique to pull out a length advantage now over Czech Republic in second place. The Czech Republic are still overlapping with Russia, who are back in third, Canada in fourth. But Germany looking really good here as they enter the third quarter of the race. They've got a very precise catch and they're moving the boat on really, really sweetly. Czech Republic, perhaps the blade work not quite as smart as that of the Germans. This German technique looks really polished and it's carrying them through this third quarter at a great speed, 5 meters per second, according to the data in front of me. That's the fastest moving boat on the course. So Colleen, the crew is heading your way. This German crew look really tidy.
Yeah, Kat, I love watching the German scull, and in particular enjoy watching their quads. Was thinking that as you were describing them moving through the second quarter of the race so well. Just such precision, such symmetry, the leg drive, the swing through the body. So looking forward to seeing them cross by the 500 to go in just a few moments, which is where Theodor and I are stationed. Germany holding on to that lead. As you rightly said, they're starting to press away even more from this Czech crew. And with just one boat to advance to final A, we'll see if the Czech Republic decides to take it up. There's still just about 600 meters to go.
Наближавайки четвърто 500, германките все по-убедително продължават да водят, както колегите ви описаха. Може би най-добрата технически лодка, но пък за това си има своята причина. Не само факта, че са тренирали заедно, а все пак комфорта, който те имат, водейки и имайки поглед на цялата останала част от състезанието, всички останали лодки. Това им дава комфорта да гребат все по-спокойно, имайки предвид, че те продължават да държат най-високата скорост, навлизайки в последно 500, имайки поне две лодки преднина.
So Germany still opening up their lead, holding on to that 5 meter per second speed that we saw in the body of the race, up at 37 strokes per minute. The Czech cruising alongside them. The Canadians have just passed us, looking really solid as well. And then it's over to the Polish crew and Russia, just ever so tight. Hungary a bit behind them. The bow seat of the Hungarian shell, Luca Padar, just 15 years old. So great to see her make her debut on the international stage. But the Germans continuing to hold on to that speed, so a nice, evenly paced pace for the Germans. They're now at 36 strokes per minute. They'll just need to maintain to get to the line, but we'll see if they decide to put on a bit of a sprint. So, Rob, they're now closing into the final 250, 200 meters or so, and these German scullers will have to keep an eye on them for the rest of the week because they're looking really nice in their heat.
Aren't they just? And we're sort of divided up into 2 or 3 groups here, aren't we? Because Germany really out in front, Czech Republic, I think, are just falling a bit further back now alongside Canada. Then we've got Poland and Russia and Hungary pretty much side by side. They will know that their game is up, specifically in this heat, and that they'll be going again tomorrow morning in the repechage. But as you've been describing in commentary, the Germans looking so solid, so serene as they come down to the finish line to qualify for the A final of the women's quad sculls, getting really good support and round of applause here from the grandstand. Czech Republic are coming through to take second place, and third is Canada. Ooh, that was quite tight between Czech Republic and Canada. Wonder who took second, who took third. Canada! Well, there you go. Took second, Czech Republic in third.
Приключи първа серия от дисциплината четворка скул девойки. Първо място убедително и финал А за лодката на Германия с време 6:39:43. Второ място Канада, трето Република Чехия, четвърто Полша, пето Русия и шесто Унгария, които отиват на репешаж.
Heat 2 of the women's quad sculls sees Italy go in lane 1 alongside the USA in lane 2, Switzerland in 3, Romania in 4 and the Netherlands in lane 5.
Продължаваме с втора серия четворка скул девойки без ролеви. Първи коридор Италия, втори Съединени американски щати, трети Швейцария, четвърти Румъния, пети Нидерландия.
Well, we know we're going to be hearing cowbells down this end of the course, but how are the Swiss crew looking at this stage, Kat?
Rob, it's looking really good for the Swiss crew right now. They're coming through 800 metres and they've got the advantage over the rest of the field. They've held that from the very start of the race, and right now they're 17 metres ahead of Romania, who are the second place crew. Back from Romania, it's Italy in third. Right now, from our 1,000-metre commentary point, we're feeling a subtle change in conditions. Earlier on in the programme, the wind was coming from the start of the course down towards the finish, and we're now seeing just a subtle crosswind. So the wind's actually blowing just subtly straight onto us, a gentle breeze. But that means there will be slightly different conditions for these scullers out on the course. And here they come directly in front of our commentary position. The Swiss crew, again, another really tidy-looking quad here. The German crew in the first heat of this event looking very polished, as are this Swiss crew, leading now by just over a length ahead of Romania.
1000 метра преминаха четворките скул. При девойките начело е лодката на Швейцария с една лодка. Много добре стартираха швейцарките. Бяха първи на първото 500 метра. Наистина чисто хубаво гребане. Но лодките на Италия и Румъния, които бих казала вървят едновременно на втора позиция, все още не са се отказали от битката за първото място. Виждаме как веднага след 1000 метра те дигнаха темпото. В момента Швейцария с същия ответен ход се мъчат да задържат своята преднина. Явно последните 500 метра ще се реши дали ще успее швейцарките да завоюват първото място.
So moving through this third quarter, the Swiss crew coming towards you, Colleen, continuing to lead. A really smart unit here again from Switzerland.
Yeah, that's right, Kat. They're looking really solid as they come towards us at the 500. Those cowbells, I suppose they can hear all the way up in the middle of the course because it's working for them. Their rhythm just really solid, 35 strokes per minute. I'm keeping my eye on the Italians as well out of lane 1. So the Italians and the Romanians having quite a battle in lanes 1 and 4. But the Italians started to pick it up in the second quarter, into the third quarter. So we'll see if they have somewhere to go as we close in. They're just coming by the final 500, and the Swiss looking so strong out in front.
Навлизайки в последно 500, успяват швейцарките да устоят на всяка една атака от страна на лодките на Румъния и Италия и като че ли бих казал спокойно навлизат в последно 500, преследвайки директна промоция към А-финал. Тук ще си позволя да се отклоня малко, да ви съобщя един интересен факт. В лодката на Холандия зад загребната е само на 15 години и я чакат след тази година още 3 години участие на световни първенства за юноши и девойки и вече по-впечатлящия факт за нея, че тя участва преди месец на световното в Рачице в четворката скул до 23 години на Нидерландия, която класира 10-та, така че бих казал, че това е със сигурност най-впечатлящия атлет от тази серия.
So the Swiss holding on to that first place position, the one qualifying spot. The Italians still in second. Now Alice Natta in the 3 seat. We saw her last month in Račice, Czech Republic at the under-23 World Championships, where she of course raced up an age class, competing in the under-23 women's double and finishing 8th overall. So great pedigree in that boat as well. Her teammate Giulia Bossio in the 2 seat finished 7th in the junior women's double at the 2019 juniors in Tokyo, Japan. So great pedigree in that boat. Unfortunately, though, Rob, as they come towards you, it's looking like the Italians will race in the repechage.
It does, but they haven't given up hope, have they? They're still keeping about the same position they did with the Swiss, but the Swiss are going to take this, and the old saucepans and bells are being battered in the grandstand here. It's a great sound. It really adds to the fun and the atmosphere here in these World Rowing Junior Championships in Plovdiv. So Switzerland come across the line in first place, a length and a quarter ahead of Italy in second. Romania are going to take third, but it's Italy who know that they will join Germany in the A final of the women's quad sculls.
Приключи втора серия от дисциплината четворка скул девойки. Първо място и финал А за лодката на Швейцария, която заедно с Германия директно се класират за така желаният финал А. Репешаж за лодката на второ място Италия, Румъния трето, четвърто Нидерландия и пето Съединени щати.
We now move on to two heats in the men's eight, our final heat of the day before we move into the repechage. And in this first men's eight, we've got the Czech Republic in lane 1, Hungary in lane 2, Germany in lane 3, Belarus in 4, Romania lane 5.
Дами и господа, една от най-атрактивните дисциплини следва да видим, а това е осморка юноши. Първи коридор за Република Чехия, втори Унгария, трети Германия, четвърти Беларус и шести Румъния.
Always a great spectacle this, isn't it, Kat, when you've got eights out on the course, albeit 5 rather than 6 crews, but the water just seems to kind of fill up when you've got these big boats coming down the water.
It really does, Rob. It fills up with the effort of the athletes, with the sound of the athletes, the sound of the coaches on the bank, the sounds the coxes are making. Really vibrant, exciting racing here. They're away from the start. They're coming towards this first timing marker at 500 metres. So 2 heats here in the men's eights, and that's meaning that we've got 2 boats qualifying directly from the A final from this race. Belarus have really had a fantastic start here in this first heat. They're still up at 40 strokes a minute as they come towards the first timing marker, and they'll take that 3 seconds ahead of Germany. So Belarus really have got a good margin through this first quarter, still 39 strokes a minute, and they've gone through that first timing marker in a 1:19, which is a pretty fast time from them. So here, moving away from that point, it's still Belarus, followed by Germany. Closest to Germany is Hungary, just over half a length back.
И така започна и последните серии в осморките. В първа серия, първо да ви кажа, че 2 лодки се класират директно на финал А от тези серии. В първата серия от началото на гонката доминира като че ли лодката на Беларус. Тя премина и първа на 500 метра, следвана плътно от Германия и Румъния. Вече 750 метра изминаха лодките и забелязваме, че начело все още с половин лодка е лодката на Беларус, атакувана от Германия. но вече виждам, че унгарската лодка като че ли е излезла на трета позиция и така 1000 метра наближават лодките. На първо място е Беларус, втора позиция за Германия. Унгария и Румъния вървят трети, но те са вече почти на лодка. Тук тръгнаха над своята атака румънците. Само да ви спомена като факт, че когато осморките вземат голяма дистанция, близо една лодка, тя трудно може да се стопи във втората половина на дистанцията. Колкото по-голяма е дистанцията, колкото по-голяма е лодката, толкова по-трудно се стопява тази дистанция.
What an exciting heat here in this men's 8 event. 37 strokes a minute still from this crew from Belarus. I've got my eye on the world best time. They've gone through 1,000 meters in 2:45.72 with a world best time of 5:35.93. We've got a super fast heat here on the course. Germany still with overlap on Belarus. They're still at 37 strokes a minute. Colleen, this is heading your way. Super racing here in this men's 8 event.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? And my eye really on Germany. They made up a second or so, just over a second in the second quarter, and they're continuing to gain momentum as they move through this third quarter. Now, as you said, Kat, it's two to qualify for the A final. So our clear leaders are Belarus and Germany, but we'll see if Germany puts on a show as we move into the last quarter of the race and if they're able to overtake Belarus or if Belarus can hold them off. They're just coming by us at 500.
Навлизайки в последно 500, беларусите водят като че ли убедително, поне на фона на третата лодка, защото, както колегите споменаха, първите две места дават директна промоция за финал А, но все пак в последното 500 германците като че ли успяха да стопят малка част от преднината, която беларусите натрупаха в първата половина от състезанието, и германците като че ли не биха се задоволили с второ място, макар че то също би им спестило участието на репасаж.
Germany got a little bit closer in the third quarter, but this crew from Belarus continuing to hold the lead, and they looked so solid as they came by Theodor and I at 500 to go. Belarus at 37 strokes per minute, Germany at 37 strokes per minute. Both of these boats, no doubt, on their way to qualify for that A final. But Rob, as they come towards you, we'll have a look at the German crew. They're still closing, and they might quite yet be able to put their bow ahead of Belarus.
Interesting to watch the German crew, isn't it? They're out of lane 3. They are pushing Belarus all the way down towards the finish line, and they're not giving up on taking first spot, Germany. Hungary probably just now a little bit too far back. They were challenging the Germans for that second A final qualification spot. This is a terrific finish. It's a terrific sight as well as they come past the grandstand. A great rapturous applause from the grandstand as these crews make it down towards the finish line. It's going to be Germany who take it, but it's going to be tight. Germany in first, quarter of a length ahead of Belarus in second. What a finish for that German crew, really laying down a marker, making the other crews sit up and take notice. It's Germany first, Belarus in second, Hungary come through in third, Germany and Belarus qualifying. The time for the winning crew from Germany, 5:44.02, so just about 9 seconds or so outside the world best time.
Изключителна битка в тази атрактивна дисциплина осморка юноши. Първо място с време 5:44.02 за лодката на Германия, следвана от тази на Беларус. Двете лодки ще видим на финал А директно. Останалите лодки остават на репешаж. Ето и реда на тяхното пристигане. Трето място за Унгария, четвърто Румъния, пето Република Чехия.
So who will join Germany and Belarus with direct progression to that A final from this second heat of the men's 8, which sees Ukraine go in lane 1, Italy in 2, Russia in 3, USA lane 4.
Продължаваме с втора серия от същата дисциплина. Първи коридор за Украина, втори Италия, трети Русия, четвърти Съединени американски щати.
Well, at this stage, Kat, I guess it is anybody's race. 750 meters to go. How can you divide them at this stage?
meters. Russia have led since the start through the 500-meter mark in 1:22, just a little slower than that first heat. The USA is still well in touch here. Russia's at 36, the USA at 39. 2 boats to go through. Behind those 2 leading crews, the third place crew is Ukraine. They're also at 37 strokes a minute. They're just a length and a bit of clear water back from the Russian crew. So this USA crew, in the middle of this boat, in the 5 seat, is John Patton. He's just 16 years of age. This is actually his first race. Because of COVID, he hasn't had a chance to race, so this is his first ever time to race in an 8. And he's being cheered on by his father, Ted, who's just behind us in our commentary position here. Ted Patton was a bronze medalist in the Seoul Olympics and is here to support his son. So great to see the rowing moving through families in that way. And just as I'm saying that, the USA crew have just pulled alongside Russia, and it's so tight between these 2 crews, with 2 crews qualifying directly to the A final.
Ето и втората серия при осморките, малко след 1000 метра. Начало като че ли излезе осморката на Съединените щати пред осморката на Русия, която водеше до 1000 метра на дистанцията. Като че ли тези 2 лодки се очертават първите 2, които ще се класират директно на финал А. Лодката на Италия също не се е отказала и навлезе в финален спринт малко по-рано, ако мога така да се изразя. Но за сега имаме една комфортна преднина за Русия и Съединените щати. Те просто водят битка помежду си за първото място, според мен.
So it's the last heat of the regatta, and what an exciting one it is. The USA just starting to nudge ahead of Russia. Colleen, they're coming your way. This is another great heat.
So they're just coming towards the final 500-meter mark. And I've been really excited about this heat in particular, this USA crew. Not all of them have, too much racing experience. So for some of them, this is a lot of them, their first international regatta. And for some of them, really, their first year of rowing. And I think the implication, I had a chance to chat with their coach, Eric Gerke, who said they're just gutsy. They're just fearless. They're able to go out and really put everything on the line. They don't know their ceiling. And so I've been excited to watch them, and I think that that spirit is really paying off as they move through now the last quarter.
Наближавайки края на дистанцията, американците във втората половина от състезанието успяха да наваксат изоставането си, тъй като сами видяхте, руснаците бяха първи на 500 и на 1000 метра, но като че ли американците, макар и втори, което би ги класирало директно на финал А, не биха искали днес да си легнат с мисълта, че са завършили втори. И към момента продължават лека по лека да се движат една идея по-бързо и с 2 цикла в минута по-високо темпо от съседния коридор, която е лодката на Русия. И наближавайки към червените бочки, вече първите 2 лодки, които ще се класират на финал, бих казал, че ако не се случи нещо извънредно, няма какво да бъде променено.
So Rob, here they are. It's the USA and Russia, looking really good for them, isn't it?
Certainly is, and as you said, that USA crew don't seem to know their ceiling. They will just push on through very comfortably indeed, but they are being pushed all the way down to the line as well by Russia and indeed by Italy in third spot. What a sight as they come down to this finish line. It's the USA who take it in first place, a good half a length clear of Russia in second. Those are the 2 crews who will go through then to join Germany and Belarus in the A final. So that means Italy and Ukraine will go again for those remaining A final spots tomorrow.
Приключи тази втора серия от дисциплината осморка. Първо място за Съединените американски щати с време 5:43.95 и финала. На финала ще видим още и лодката на Русия. Репешаж и трето място за Италия и четвърто за Украйна.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that completes the heats for these junior championships. Next up, it will be the repechage getting underway in just a few minutes.
Дами и господа, програмата ни продължава с втория етап от днешния втори състезателен ден, а това са именно репешажите. Така че само след 5 минути започваме.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now turn to the repechage of the men's pair.
Дами и господа, следва дисциплината от репешажите двойка без роливи.
Lining up in lane 1, Paraguay, Daniel Villalba and Nicolas Villalba.
Номер 1 Парагвай.
In lane 2, Turkey, Fatih Mehmet Avci and Alta Karabudak.
Втори коридор Турция.
In lane 3, Greece, Christos Magritoglu and Apostolos Likomitros.
Трети коридор Гърция.
In lane 4, Bulgaria.
Четвърти коридор България и нашите момчета Цветомир Малинов и Иван Янкулов.
And in lane 5, Moldova, Vladimir Yanakov and Sergei Yanakov.
Пети коридор Молдова.
I'll just recap. Just recapping the lanes, Paraguay in lane 1, Turkey in 2, Greece in lane 3, the host nation Bulgaria are in lane 4 and Moldova lane 5.
Bulgaria, Moldova, attention.
So they are underway then in the first repechage of the men's pair, Paraguay, Turkey, Greece, Bulgaria and Moldova. This is a last chance then for a shot at the medals. The first three across the line will make it through to the A-B semi-finals. For the remaining crews, it's a C final.
Дами и господа, вече даден старта на дисциплината двойка без ролеви репешаж с българското участие, така че това е шанс на нашите момчета да успеят да влезат в полуфиналите АБ.
So let's head over to Kat then at 1,000 meters. The crew's only around 250, but this really is it's a last chance saloon, isn't it, Kat?
Yeah, that's one way to describe it, certainly, Rob. It's really the only opportunity these crews are going to have now to come through to the AB semi-final. So they want to throw everything they can at it to come home with a potential high place ranking through from this regatta, and obviously the possibility of a medal if they can qualify from the A final from that semi. So looking at the crews here, Greece in the centre lane, lane 3, they've come into this repechage with the fastest qualifying time from the heats. And we're seeing that reflected in the early stages of boat speed here as they come towards the first timing marker at 500 metres. It's Greece in the lead. They've got an 11-metre advantage ahead of Turkey. These two crews still at 37 strokes a minute. And Paraguay also right up there alongside Greece. It's Greece that goes through first. Actually, Paraguay now in second place ahead of Turkey at this 500-metre timing point.
Стартира и гонката, която особено много ни вълнува. Първия репесаж при двойките без юношите, където участва родката на България, Цветомир Малинов и Иван Янкулов. Нашите момчета трябва да се класират между първите три лодки, за да попаднат в полуфинали А, Б. Вече преминаха 500-метровата дистанция. Четирите лодки бих казала, защото лодката на Молдова като че ли малко е изостанала, се движат така близко една до друга и всеки от тях има шанс, разбира се, да влезе в първите три. Към момента начело като че ли е лодката на Гърция, следвана от турците, Парагвай, и нашите момчета се движат плътно с лодката за Парагвай. Това все пак е двойка без и е много важно да съхраниш достатъчно сили за втората половина на дистанцията. Вчера те стартираха малко по-силно, може би днеска гребат с друга тактика, така че да могат да достигнат до третата позиция през втората половина на дистанцията. И така близо 1000-метровата отметка. Начело дори може би е лодката на Парагвай, следвана от Гърция, Турция, България на една лодка след Турция. Имат шанс във втората половина на дистанцията. Ето виждам, че Цветомир и Иван в момента тръгнаха да дигат темпото и да увеличават скоростта. Точно във втората половина на дистанцията явно такъв е инструктажа. Всичките тези 4 лодки и нашите момчета включително имат шанс да се класират между първите 3. Така че да им пожелаем успех до финала.
So 5 boats in this repechage and 4 boats really in with contention for these 3 spots in the AB semi. The crew from Moldova have slipped back a bit now. It looks as though it will be the C final for them. It's Bulgaria in the 4th place at the moment, still in with a shot at one of these 3 places for the AB semi-final. Leading the way, still Greece, Paraguay, who've made this journey all the way to Bulgaria to compete here in this junior championships. They're in 2nd place, Turkey in 3rd. They're coming towards you, Colleen, and the Greek crew looking really good through this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Kat, I'm excited to see this Greek crew as they just come by 500 to go in a few moments. Of course, we saw a really nice performance from the Greek men's straight four just a little while ago. So clearly there's some depth on the Greek team from a sweep perspective. Greece, well, they're still leading. They've led from the start. They took it through the 2nd quarter. They're leading through the 3rd quarter. Paraguay holding on to that 2nd place position and Turkey holding 3rd. We'll see, though, Bulgaria keeping themselves in touch for what could be a qualifying position.
След като нашите момчета не направиха много силно първи 1000, вече разполагаме с добри новини, тъй като те успяват почти изцяло да наваксат разликата си с лодката на Турция. И бих казал, че сега, минавайки пред мен, вече имат лека преднина. Сигурен съм, че всички вие, които сте тук, сте си изправили на крака и сте готови да ги подкрепите, тъй като ги очакват изключително тежки последни 500 метра по пътя им към класиране на полуфинал и влизане поне в топ 12, от която подкрепа те със сигурност биха имали нужда.
Bulgaria then moves into the 3rd. That pushes Turkey back into 4th place. It's Paraguay still holding 2nd, Greece holding 1st. The Bulgarians will perhaps need to borrow the cowbells from the Swiss team because it's looking like they are in a position to qualify for semi-AB.
Много силна втора половина за нашите момчета. Продължават да увеличават разликата си с лодката на Турция и бих казал, че този път, не искам да си изказвам предварително, както вчера за четвърката скул, но този път като че ли имаме много добри изгледи за лодката ни да се класира на полуфинал, наближавайки червените бочки. А в момента виждам, че турците забавиха своето темпо и бих казал, че Не знам дали поради техническа причина или нещо друго, като че ли напълно се отказаха. И така, 150 метра до финала, нашата лодка уверено върви към класиране на полуфинал.
Rob, I'm so impressed with the last few hundred meters from the Bulgarian crew. They're now holding on to what looks like a second place position. The crowd must be going wild.
They are. We're quite excited in the tower as well. Maria Pavlova alongside me in the tower. Really thrilled to see the Bulgarians pushing through from fourth to third to second, and who knows, potentially even first place, but without a shadow of a doubt, they've qualified for the semi-finals. It's a terrific finish from Bulgaria here. It's going to be Bulgaria who take first place ahead of Greece in second, and third place way back, but still qualifying in lane one. It's Paraguay. Maria, what a victory for Bulgaria.
Cool.
Страхотна победа, много емоции тук от коментаторското място, където се намираме и коментираме, виждаме всичко на живо. Победа за България, аплодисменти за нашите момчета. Прекрасни са, Цветомир и Иван. Аплодисменти, момчета, страхотни сте. Вие се класирате за първо място в тази серия и полуфинал. Второ място за Гърция, вашите съперници, които ви успяхте да победите. И така, второ място за Гърция, трето за Парагвай, четвърто за Турция и пето за Молдова.
Well, just pause for breath and move on to round two, or repechage two, of the men's pair. Chile are lining up in lane one alongside Lithuania in two, Norway in three, Canada lane four, Russia in five, and Austria in lane six.
Продължаваме с втора серия от дисциплината четворка без ролеви юноши. Първи коридор Чили, втори Литва, трети Норвегия, четвърти Канада, пети Русия, шести Австрия.
Well, Kat, I know you love your position in the tower up at 1,000 meters, but I bet you would have loved to have been in the finish tower to see the Bulgarian crew come home in first place there.
Oh, Rob, we had our own mini celebration here at 1,000 metres. Violetta, absolutely delighted to see the Bulgarian crew win that first repechage. I'm really thrilled that the crowd was so much behind them, and what a great win for the home nation here in this repechage. And here the second repechage for the junior men's pairs. They're just coming towards us at 1,000 metres. It's been a great race so far for Lithuania. They're currently at 36 strokes a minute. They have an advantage of a length over the rest of the field. Again, 3 crews to qualify for the AB semi-final from this repechage, and the Lithuanian crew looking very strong here as they come through 1,000 metres.
1000 метра във втора серия. Първо да поздравя Цветомир и Иван, направиха страхотна гонка нашите момчета, и така 1000 метра да минем към втория репесаж. Начало на 1000 метра е лодката на Литва, но за сега единствено това е леката преднина. Следвана плътно от лодките на Чили, Норвегия, Канада и Русия се намесва. Наистина ще бъдем свидетели на една много интересна битка за първите 3 места или за класиране в полуфинали А, Б. И така на 1250 метра наближават лодките и сме свидетели наистина на една много интересна гонка. Забелязвам, че лодката на Норвегия тръгва в финал. Ще видим какво ще се получи във втората част на дистанцията.
Moving through this third quarter, Lithuania is still leading and hot on their tails. The Norwegians in second place. They look so relaxed coming through 1,000 metres. And Colleen, they're heading your way and they're just eating into this lead that the Lithuanians had established.
Yeah, it's incredible, Kat, isn't it? My eye is certainly on Norway, and then Canada and Chile just behind them. Of course, Chile, another team that's made quite the journey to be here at the Junior World Championships. For now, though, Lithuania continuing to hold over the past several strokes, the margin quite consistent between our leader, Lithuania, Norway running second, and Canada at the moment capturing that third qualifying position.
Наближавайки 1500 метра, все още нищо не е ясно. Изключително интересна серия, като и 6 лодки върват в някъде около 3 секунди разлика между първата и шестата. Заслужава си да обърнем внимание на тази гонка, не само защото е интересна, и защото първите 3 лодки, които се класират, са потенциални противници на нашите лъвове, които направиха изключително изключителен финал в предната серия. И така навлизайки в четвърто 500 Литва, Норвегия и Канада, но все пак канадците са много здраво натиснати от Русия.
So Chile has slipped back just a bit. That means Russia is closest to what could be a qualifying position. We've seen 4 boats go by that are quite tightly packed, so the race is still very much on, but Lithuania holding their lead and very similar margin between them and Norway, although of course, as I say that, Norway starts to pick up the pace and closes the gap a little bit more. Lithuania at 37, Norway at 38. It's still Canada running third at 34 strokes per minute, Russia up at 38, so the Canadians may well have it since they have somewhere to go with the stroke rate.
Наближавайки червените бочки, продължават Литва и Норвегия да си подават първото място във всеки загребок, а руснаците на свой ред пък вдигнаха доста по-високо темпо от канадците, но пък скоростта им за сметка на това е почти равна на тази на лодката на Канада, а между двете лодки има поне лодка разлика, така че по-скоро предимство за канадците, навлизайки в последните метри за взимане на това последно място в топ 12.
Rob, Norway kicks it up to 39 strokes per minute and now leads.
Yeah, they've been impressive, haven't we, with the Norwegian crew here in lane 3. They want to lay down a marker, make the other crews sit up and take notice of just what they're capable of here. And yeah, they're determined to take that first qualification spot. Just to remind you, it is the first 3 who qualify for the AB semi-final. It's Norway who look like they're going to be taking that first spot. They're actually extending their lead. They're really going for it down to the finish line. Really impressive from Norway. They're going to take it ahead of Lithuania in second. It's really tight for third, but it's just going to go the way of Canada ahead of Russia. But it's Lithuania, Norway, or Norway, Lithuania, and Canada who qualify for the AB semi-finals.
Приключи втора репешажна серия от дисциплината двойка без ролеви юноши. Първо място с време 6:49.31 е лодката на Норвегия. Тя заедно с Литва и Канада се класират за полуфиналите АБ. За четвърто място за Русия, пето за Австрия и шесто за Чили.
Next on the water, we have the repechage of the men's quadruple sculls. In this first repechage, it's Ukraine in lane 1, Serbia in lane 2, Bulgaria lane 3, Hungary in lane 4.
Дами и господа, продължаваме с първа серия от дисциплината четворка скул младежи. Първи коридор Украйна, втори Сърбия, трети България, четвърти Унгария.
So, Kat, early stages I know, but can we expect more success from Bulgaria in this race?
Rob, it's really looking good for them so far with 2 boats to go through to the AB semi from this repechage. Bulgaria currently riding in second place. 37 strokes a minute. They're just behind Serbia, who are leading, also at 37 strokes a minute. They're coming towards our commentary position here. It's really tidy sculling from this Bulgarian unit. They're very synchronized. They're sharp catches. The blade work moving really well together. Serbia still just ahead of them, but here at this halfway stage, Bulgaria positioned very, very well.
Ето я и първата репесажна гонка при четворките скул, където участва нашия отбор. Точно 1000 метра минават в момента лодките. Българската лодка е на втора позиция. Спокойно гребят и момчетата от четворката скул. Наистина не са се отдалечили все още достатъчно, за да сме напълно спокойни за първите 2 места, които им трябват от стоящите на трето място лодки на Украйна и Унгария, но като наблюдавам тяхното гребане спокойно и за мен добро наистина, предполагам, че нашите момчета в четворката скул няма да имат никакъв проблем да вземат едно от първите 2 места и да се класират за полуфиналите, което ще бъде наистина чудесно за тях и за българското гребане.
So 2 boats going through from this to the AB semi-final, and Bulgaria moving up now on Serbia. Serbia still lead, Colleen, but the Bulgarians have moved well through this third quarter.
Yeah, I've been excited, Kat, to watch this repechage. In the prior round, this Bulgarian crew, all 17 years old, well, they just missed out on advancing directly to the final by less than half a second. So they've certainly got something to prove as they come into this repechage. It continues to be Serbia leading, Bulgaria holding a solid second. Bulgaria pushed by the Ukraine, but the Ukraine not quite able to really become a threat yet. They're just about to go by the finish tower, not the finish tower, the 1500-meter tower, and it continues to be Serbia, Bulgaria running second.
Наближавайки последно 500, продължаваме с добрите новини от нашия отбор. Момчетата от четворката СКУ, които са единствената лодка от бих казал източноевропейски репасаж, които вчера успяха да гребат под 6 минути. Днес дават отново сериозна заявка с своето желание да се класират на АБ полуфинал. Не бих избързвал този път да давам оценка за крайно класиране, но също нещата изглеждат добре, тъй като виждам активизация от тяхна страна, тъй като в момента те са с най-високата скорост на това трасе, наближавайки червените бочки.
So it might be another celebration in the finish tower in just a few moments, because the Bulgarian crew is continuing to move. They're holding second. They're really safe for a qualifying position, but they might be able to pass Serbia as they come through the end.
Наближава вече финала. Нямам добра видимост, но следя тук на таблета нещата. За съжаление, към момента лодката на Украйна виждам, че се движи със същото темпо като нашите, но с малко по-висока скорост, което не изглежда добре, тъй като приканвам всички вас, които сте там, да подкрепите нашите момчета, тъй като те имат нужда от последна инжекция от енергия и кораж, за да успеят да се класират на полуфинал.
Rob, so close, 3 boats in contention for 2 positions. It's Serbia and Bulgaria and Ukraine so tightly packed.
Yeah, Ukraine are really causing trouble here. They are going to push through. Ukraine are pushing through, and it looks like it's going to be Ukraine, Bulgaria to go through. It is Ukraine who crossed the line, a bow ball ahead of Bulgaria in second. They qualify. And how galling for the Serbian crew, because they miss out. They're in third place. And that's a great disappointment for Serbia. So they led so far down the course. But I'm just going to confirm it is a semi-final A-B spot for Ukraine and Bulgaria. For Serbia and for Hungary, it is the CD semi-finals.
Изключително съм емоционална, макар и да подхождам професионално, но няма как да не поздравим нашите момчета. Моля ви за аплодисменти за нашите български участници, които приключиха втори и успяха да се класират за полуфиналите. Първо място Украйна, а второ България. Двете лодки ще видим, които ще продължат напред. Трето място за Сърбия и четвърто за Унгария. Аплодисменти още веднъж за нашите герои.
Oh, sport can be so cruel. Despair in that Serbian boat that led so far down the course. But they will compete again, and they've provided an excellent showing here in these opening 2 days. So let's move on then. It's repechage 2 of the men's quad sculls, with Croatia in lane 1, Netherlands in 2, Ireland in lane 3, Italy in lane 4.
Продължаваме с втора репешажна серия от дисциплината четворка скул юноши. Първи коридор Хърватия, втори Нидерландия, трети Ирландия, четвърти Италия.
Kat, I think that previous race showed just it's never over until it's over. I was so impressed with the way Ukraine came through to take that race, having looked out of it actually in the closing stages.
Yeah, what a finish that was. Absolutely thrilling racing, so strong, and really fast times posted by all of those crews. And here we have the second repechage, 4 in total, and what fantastic racing in this men's quad event. Here in this second race, the Italian crew have led since the start. They came through 500 metres, 0.76 seconds ahead of Ireland. And we're seeing a slightly different tactic from this Irish crew here in the repechage. In the heat, they led through to 1,000 metres ahead of Czech Republic, and then Czech Republic moved through them in the closing stages to take the win and the direct qualification slot to the semi-final. So Ireland, perhaps a different strategy here. They, at this stage, are behind Italy. And back from Ireland, it's the crew from the Netherlands with Croatia in 4th place. So 2 to go through to the AB semi-final. Right now, Italy and Ireland are in the 1-2 positions.
Първо да поздравя нашите момчета за това, че удържаха наистина и се класираха на полуфиналите, а сега да се прехвърлим в втория репесаж, където на 1000 метра Италия води убедително с повече от лодка пред Ирландия и Холандия. Като че ли тук са някакси по-ясни нещата и по-разпределени лодките по дистанцията, но едва ли холандците са се отказали съвсем да атакуват второто място, което ще им даде право да попаднат в полуфинали А-Б. И така 1250 метра след началото на дистанцията убедително напред е лодката на Италия, следвана от Ирландия, Холандия и на последно място е Хърватия.
The Italian crew have really stepped on here in this repechage from their performance in the heat, finishing fourth in yesterday's heat and now leading this by clear water ahead of Ireland. They're coming your way, Colleen, and it looks like we've got two leaders who are ahead of the rest of the pack here.
Yeah, that's right, Kat. They're coming towards us now in the third quarter, and it continues to be Italy and Ireland out ahead. Interested to see if the Irish put on a press here in the third quarter and now into the last quarter. Ireland and Italy just about a second or so apart from each other in the prior round, though they were in different heats. So I think there's a little bit of speed to be had. Of course, it's two to qualify to semi-final A-B, so the Irish may not need to feel pressed to do so. Italy, Ireland coming through, and then it's back to Netherlands and Croatia.
Навлизайки последно 500, бих казал, имаме две сериозни заявки за тези две места, които дават промоция директно на полуфинал АБ вместо на СД. Моля да ме извините за лапсусите от предишната гонка, но видяхте сами какъв финал станахме свидетели. Емоциите взеха като че ли връх. Ирландците биват леко натиснати тук от лодката на Холандия, но пък успяват да удържат на техните атаки, а и все пак в серията вчера от тези 4, в сериите вчера от тези 4 лодки ирландците даваха значително по-добро време от останалите 3, така че съм сигурен, че биха имали отговор на каквато и да била атака, имайки предвид, че остават само 250 метра.
Closing in then, Rob, they're coming towards you. Continuing to be Italy and Ireland, margins quite consistent. So pretty comfortable, I think, for these two crews as they move through the final stretch. I think they'll just be looking to maintain.
Yeah, that sounds about right, I think, Colleen. Italy do look quite far ahead now, and I think they will be taking this. And I suspect Ireland just happy to keep clear of the Netherlands in third to take that second qualification spot. So it is Italy coming down to the line, looking very comfortable with this one. Ireland just making sure that nothing goes wrong in these final stages, that they're going to make it through to the AB semi-finals. It's CD semis for the remaining crews. Italy coming down to the line then, tremendous support from the grandstand here. Italy crossed the line in first place, a full 2 lengths ahead of Ireland in second. Ireland won't care about that. They're through to the AB semi-finals. So for the Netherlands and for Croatia, it is going to be a CD semi.
Приключи втора репешажна серия от дисциплината четворка скул юноши. Първо място за лодката на Италия с време 5:56:52. Второ място за Ирландия. Двете лодки се класират за полуфиналите АБ. Трето място за Нидерландия, четвърто за Хърватия.
We're now underway in the third of the 4 repechage in the men's quad sculls with Estonia in lane 1, Belarus in 2, Poland in 3, Egypt in lane 4 with France in lane 5.
Продължаваме с трета репешажна серия от дисциплината четворка скул юноши. Първи коридор Естония, втори Беларус, трети Полша, четвърти Египет, пети Франция.
Well, great to see North African crew coming through here, Kat, all the way from Egypt. I wonder how they'll fare here. How are they looking in these early stages?
Rob, Egypt are looking strong here. We've got 2 crews to go through to the AB semi-final, and they're right in the mix as they come through 1,000 metres. So that timing point has marked them in third place, just behind France, and it's Belarus that leads. So Egypt currently holding on to one of these 3 qualifying slots, but still 1,500 meters to go in this race. And Belarus up there in front. What a strong team from Belarus here. Their 8 have performed really well this morning in the heat. And here another 4 athletes from the men's side. And they're leading this right now by 23 meters ahead of France. And we're just 750 into the race.
Стартира и третия репесаж при четворките с юноши. 750 метра след старта виждаме много хубаво гребане на лодката на Беларус, която е и на първа позиция, следвана от лодката на Франция. Наистина и 4-мата от лодката на Беларус са на 17 години, и което е много добре в момента. Виждаме много чисто и хубаво гребане, почти лодка отпред за Беларус. Но по-интересното е кой ще вземе втората позиция, защото в момента на втора позиция се озовава лодката на Полша, плътно следвана от Египет и Франция. Наистина ще наблюдаваме много интересна втора половина. 3 лодки вървят нос до нос за заемане на втората позиция, която ще им даде право, а защо не и на първата, видяхме, че има изненади в всички репесажи, за директно класиране в полуфинал АБ.
Belarus continue to lead this. They're holding their bodies forward. They're swinging them back through the drive with great acceleration. Clear water over the rest of the field. Poland there in second place. And there's a battle here in lanes 4 and 5 for the third place, right alongside each other. Egypt and France, bow ball for bow ball. Back from them, Estonia now look to be set to go through to the CD semi. They've got a long way to make up to fight for one of these 3 spots. Kalin, they're heading your way. I'm impressed with this crew from Belarus, and what a battle between 4 boats for these 2 qualifying slots.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Kat. They're coming toward us. And Belarus, well, they've just had a great race from the start. Quick off the line. They built speed through the second quarter. You mentioned their technique. Theodore and I now can see it from the 1,500, the 5 to go. They've got great swing through the back half, and that rhythm really working for them at a nice 35 strokes per minute. It's Poland who's holding on to that second qualifying position. They're under pressure from Egypt out of lane 4, but clear water just back to Egypt, so it'll take a bit of effort, I'm afraid, from Egypt to clear it up as they move through the last 500.
Навлизайки последно 500, доста впечатляваща гонка от страна на лодката на Беларус, която взе лидерството от самото начало и продължава да не я пуска, и може би всъщност не в момента поляците се движат една идея по-бързо, но все пак изостават с една лодка от своите конкуренти от Беларус. В момента доста неприятен инцидент. Едно от момчетата от лодката на Египет не успя да извади чисто своето гребло и все още той е под водата, и египтяните изгубиха изцяло своята скорост, така че със сигурност те отпадат от битката за второ място, като може би французите все още имат шанс да оспорят от Полша това второ място, което би класирало на полуфинал АБ.
So Belarus leads, Poland running second. It's France now in third. Unfortunately, Egypt caught a boat-stopping crab just through the 500 to go. They're back on course. They're back on pace, but it's looking like it'll be the CD final for Egypt. So France would be closest to that qualifying position. But it's Belarus and it's Poland with quite the lead, Rob, as they come towards you in the final stretch.
Yeah, how disappointing for Egypt, because they'd pushed through the French boat and they were really trying to head through, making a really great run to qualify. But a crab is going to stall your chances, isn't it, as it appears to have done. So it is going to be Belarus who are coming down to take first spot, with Poland in second. But what a finish also from France as well. So it's Belarus in first. They take that AB semi-final spot. And second place is Poland, with France coming home in third. For France and for Egypt and for Estonia, it'll be a CD semi-final.
Финишира третата репешажна серия от дисциплината четворка с юноши. Първо място за лодката на Беларус, второ Полша, трето Франция, четвърто и пето Египет и Естония.
And really good reception for Egypt as they come down towards the finish line. It's great to hear that from all nationalities here in the grandstand, just showing their appreciation. And, well, our hats off to Egypt, who put together a terrific race. Just so unlucky in the final stages. But we look forward to seeing you, Egypt, in the CD semi-final. See how you can go there. On to our fourth and final repechage in the men's quad sculls. We've got Denmark in lane 1, Canada in 2, Belgium in 3, Romania in lane 4, the USA are in lane 5.
Стартира четвърта, последна репешажна серия от дисциплината, четворка скул юноши, първи коридор Дания, втори Канада, трети Беларус, Белгия, четвърти Румъния, пети Съединени щати.
So at around, 500-600 meters, it's looking another fairly tight race here. Romania, Belgium looking pretty good. But Kat, did you know that today was, I'm sure you did know today, is International Youth Day. Being a youth yourself, I'm sure you'll be celebrating.
I'm not sure I quite qualify, Rob. There's plenty of youths out here on the course. They've got a lot of enthusiasm, and what a great day to have a Junior World Championships on International Youth Day. And there was a lot of youth and enthusiasm here from the Danes and the Belgians. They shot out of the blocks, both crews, at 51 strokes a minute. That gave them the early advantage, and Romania rode through to take the lead at 500 metres. They still lead this race. This is the final repechage of the men's quad sculls, and it's again 2 boats to qualify for the AB semi-final. Romania looking really, really good as they come through 900 metres. Their advantage now over the rest of the field is more than a length, and back from them, this battle between Belgium and the USA is very close indeed. These crews are bow ball for bow ball between second and third place.
1000 метра наближават лодките в последния репесаж при четворките скул. Към момента Румъния и от началото на дистанцията като че ли е лидер Румъния, и на 1000 метра тя преминава почти с една лодка преднина пред Белгия и Съединените щати. Само че в тази гонка ще има борба за второто място, защото лодките на Белгия и Съединените щати вървят топка до топка или сменят позициите си. Виждаме, че и Дания в първи коридор като че ли се стреми да настигне, ако не Румъния, поне вторите лодки и да атакува втората позиция, което ще даде право да участва в полуфиналите А и Б. Ще видим интересна гонка в втората половина на дистанцията. Виждаме атака на Белгия. Съединените щати не изпускат позиция. Все още начело е лодката на Румъния.
Moving through this third quarter, Romania still lead by clear water. Belgium have nudged their bow ball ahead of the USA. The USA have responded to that. They took their rate up to 38 strokes a minute, back down at 37 now, as are Belgium and Romania. They're coming your way, Colleen. Romania lead this, and there's really a battle for this second qualifying slot.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kat. We can hear them coming towards us, and it continues to be Romania, Belgium, and the USA pacing it really similarly. The second quarter now into the third quarter, they've been really consistent in terms of their speed. So Belgium able to break away just a bit from the US, but as you rightly said, just nudging their bow ball ahead. No doubt about it, the Romanians coming by 500 to go and looking so strong. The battle continues for the second qualifying position.
Навлизат в последно 500 вече претендентите за последните 2 места, които ще правят компания на нашите лъвове в полуфиналите А-Б. По-сериозна заявка бих казал от страна на северните ни съседи от Румъния, които водят с еднакво разстояние според GPS данните, които разполагаме с лодките на Белгия и Щатите, които на своя сметка върват с еднаква скорост и с еднакво темпо нос до нос. И нищо не е абсолютно решено, като може би само лодките на Дания и Канада, бих казал, вече са много далече от опит да се класират на АБ полуфинал. И така наближават лодките червените бочки, като нещата не се променят. Първите 4 лодки върват с темпо между 38 и 40 и с почти еднаква скорост.
Romania still leads. The battle continues for second between Belgium and the USA. Belgium with the advantage. Belgium takes it up to 40 strokes per minute. The USA at 39. Rob, you'll have to pick them apart for us as they come toward the line.
It's going to be really tough, isn't it? Because USA did just put their bow ball ahead of the Belgian boat to take second place, which is that all-important second and last qualification spot. But how are they coming down to the line? The support for the USA in the grandstand is immense. It might not be quite enough, though. So coming down to the line, it's Romania who still are looking very assertive here. It's Romania who are going to take first place. But what about this battle for second? Also important, this second place fight. It's going to be difficult. So I think, it could have been Belgium. It could have been the USA. Belgium possibly from my vantage point. I'm going to wait for the official timings though, but Romania take it and Belgium qualify in second. Heartbreak for the USA. It was a great, great push. Congratulations though to Belgium for pulling it back. Romania and Belgium then through to the AB semi-finals. For the USA, Denmark and Canada, it's the CD semis.
Градусите на емоциите се покачват с всяка една серия. Така беше и в тази четвърта последна репешажна серия от дисциплината четворка скул за юноши. Първо място за Румъния. Второто обаче беше доста оспорвано между Белгия и Съединените щати. В крайна сметка Белгия завърши втора със съвсем малка разлика. И така двете лодки ще видим на полуфиналите А-Б. Трето място за Съединените щати, четвърто за Дания и пето Канада.
Well, we now move on to a new boat class, 2 repechage in the men's double sculls. In this first rep, it's Thailand in lane 1, USA in 2, Slovenia in 3, Ireland in lane 4, Latvia in 5, South Africa lane 6.
Програмата продължава с първа репешажна серия от дисциплината двойка скул за юноши. Първи коридор Тайланд, втори Съединени щати, трети Словения, четвърти Ирландия, пети Латвия, шести Южна Африка.
Well, Kat, we're seeing some tremendous racing, some tremendous finishing too here in these repechage. In terms of the men's double sculls, this rep, any clear leaders at the early stage? What, 600 metres through?
Yeah, it's 600 metres through, Rob, and there's a clear leader, but as we've established, the leader at 600 metres, not necessarily the leader at the end of this race, but right now Slovenia are here ahead of the USA in fourth place, Slovenia ahead of South Africa, followed by Ireland, USA in fourth. Slovenia have led to the 500 metre point. They've taken that timing marker, 0.72 seconds ahead of South Africa.
Тече и първата песажна гонка при двойките скул юноши. Първите 3 лодки ще се класират на полуфинали А-Б. Много добра гонка, много добре стартира гонката за лодката на Словения, която и към момента 750 метра след началото на дистанцията е лидер. След нея, ако мога да кажа така, плътно вървят лодките на Ирландия, Южна Африка и Съединените щати. Така че и тук нищо не е ясно. Не е ясно кой ще вземе първите 3 места. Все пак това е двойка. Позициите могат да се разменят много бързо в последната част на дистанцията. Минават точно на 1000 метра Словения, Ирландия, Съединените щати и Южна Африка заедно пресичат дистанцията. Малко са изостанали лодките на Латвия и Тайван.
So 3 boats to go through from this first of 2 repechages in the junior men's double sculls. Ireland have come into this with the fastest qualifying time from the heats. Their time, in fact, was some 7 seconds faster than Slovenia, but through the first half of the race, we've seen Slovenia lead. In this third quarter, Slovenia still leading at 35 strokes a minute. Ireland are in second at 37 strokes a minute. South Africa just behind them. And South Africa on pressure now from the USA. Colleen, they're coming your way, and this is another exciting repechage.
Yeah, Kat, it absolutely is. And my eye is on the Irish as they move through the third quarter. They've moved themselves into first place. Ireland at the 500-meter mark was in third. At the 1,000, they were in second, and now they're leading through the third quarter. Of course, there's 3 boats to advance, so it's looking really good for Ireland, Slovenia, and what a battle between the USA out of lane 2 and South Africa. Just 2 meters separating them with the USA slight advantage.
В средата на третото 500, що се касае до лодките на Словения и Ирландия, бих казал, че няма особена изненада, тъй като именно тези 2 лодки завършиха съответно вчера в първа и във втора серия трети и за малко не успяха директно да се класират на полуфинал А-Б и съответно от всички тези 6 лодки в момента на трасето са дали 2 най-добри времена, така че бих казал без изненада те са на първите 2 места. Макар че второто място, което в момента се взема от лодката на Словения, изобщо не им е сигурно. доста сериозна атака от дясната им страна във втори коридор от страната на от лодката на Съединените американски щати, извинявайте.
So Ireland leading Slovenia second, the USA running third, but really under pressure from South Africa. The USA, it's the Ribas twins, so Sean Ribas in the bow seat, Clay Ribas in the stroke seat, holding on to that third qualifying position, and it's looking really good for these three crews, Ireland, Slovenia, and the USA.
Продължават ирландците уверено да наближават червените бочки с преднина от около 15 метра пред вторите Словения. За третото последно място, което би класирало лодка на полуфинала Б, обаче битката продължава да бъде ожесточена между Южна Африка и Съединените американски щати, които са само на един нос разлика една от друга и гребат в момента с еднаква скорост, като почти не остана до края.
So Rob, they're coming towards you. Ireland holds Slovenia second. The USA holding on to third, but in hot pursuit from South Africa out of lane 6.
Yeah, South Africa still proving a real threat, aren't they, for the USA? And USA going to have to really do something to hold on to that third qualification spot. Slovenia in second, Ireland still out in front. It's so good to see these Irish crews really performing. We saw it in the World Under-23s in Repechages in the Czech Republic a few weeks ago. We saw it at the Olympics in 2020. Ireland have a really strong rowing program now, and it is paying dividends. Here they are then, coming down to take this repechage. Ireland in first place will be through to the AB semi-final. It's a really big win for Ireland as well, by 2 clear lengths ahead of over in, it's a close one, over in lane 3. That is Slovenia, and it looked to me like it was the USA, may have been South Africa who took that third spot. I just lost sight. It was focusing too much on the Irish crew. Apologies for that. Ireland, Slovenia, South Africa. USA are edged out again. That's heartbreak for them. Hats off to South Africa. Tremendous finish from them. Ireland, Slovenia, South Africa through to the AB semi-final.
Приключи първа серия от дисциплината двойка скул. Юноши и така първо място и полуфинал АБ за лодката на Ирландия. Също ще видим там на полуфиналите Словения и отбора на Южна Африка. Четвърта позиция за Съединените щати, пето за Латвия и шесто за Тайланд.
We're into the second repechage of the men's double sculls. We've got Moldova in lane 1, Italy in lane 2, Estonia in lane 3, in lane 4, Romania, lane 5, Norway, lane 6, the Netherlands.
Втора серия от репешажната серия двойка скул юноши. Първи коридор Молдова, втори Италия, трети Естония, четвърти Румъния, пети Норвегия, шести Нидерландия.
So heading down towards 800 metres, how's it looking, Kat?
Rob, it's looking good for Italy. They're at 39 strokes a minute. They're leading the race now, and they've taken that advantage away from Romania. Romania had the early lead, fastest to 500 metres, and Italy have used this second quarter to pace their way away from the rest of the field, and they've pulled out now a length advantage over Romania. So again, 3 boats to qualify for the AB semi-final. Italy currently ahead of Romania. Third place is Norway, and in hot pursuit of them is the crew from the Netherlands.
Лодките във втория репесаж на двойка скул наближават 1000 метра, след като на 500 метра румънската лодка премина първа. Към момента Италия е начело в тази гонка на 1000 метра, следвана от Румъния, и Норвегия все още е на трета позиция. Казвам все още, защото забелязвам атака на лодката на Нидерландия. Тръгват като че ли да дигат скоростта и естонците. Единствено лодката на Молдова така е с по-голяма дистанция, но и тук ще сме свидетели на интересна битка за първите 3 места. След 1000 метра начело е Италия, следвана от Румъния. Към момента на трета позиция е Норвегия. Нидерландия се стреми да влезе между първите 3.
Italy is so dynamic here through this third quarter of the race. They're really snapping it along at 38 strokes of rhythm. Fantastic rhythm in that boat. The Romanians just behind them. The bowman, Edward Dragos Kulidic, just looked to his right to see how much ground they have to make up on the Italians, and then to his left because it's the Norwegians who are in third place and the potential threat here. That's the 1, 2, 3 as they head your way, Colleen. Italy, Romania and Norway.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's looking as they come towards us mid-third quarter, just shy of the 500-meter to go. Italy, as you said, up at 37 strokes per minute, quick to the water, a good swing from that shell. So Italy continuing to lead. As we know, it's 3 spots to semifinal A, B. It's the last chance the remaining crews will contest in the C final. And still margins quite consistent, looking good for Italy. Romania running second, Norway running third.
Навлизайки в последно 500, бих казал, че почти всичко изглежда решено, но все пак само изглежда, тъй като, както преди малко видяхме, секунда невнимание коства на четворката с на Египет потенциално класиране на полуфинал. И така, навлизайки в последните 500 метра, норвежците, вървейки трети, вървейки към последното място на полуфинал, за класиране за полуфинал А-Б, увеличават своята преднина пред лодката на Нидерландия.
So they're looking really smooth as they move through this last quarter. Italy continuing to lead, that solid 37, very consistently paced. So Italy second at the 500 mark. By the 1,000 they had moved into first, and it's looking like they'll lead all the way to the line. Romania holding on to second, Norway holding on to third, and no real threat, I think, from the Norwegians. The closest would be the Netherlands out of lane 6, but they would have quite a bit of work to do to catch them. So Rob, they're coming towards you. The Italians sharp at the front, really dynamic rowing. Romania holding on to second. It's looking good for Norway in third.
Yeah, and looking a little more comfortable for them, as you suggest, Colleen. I was keeping a close eye on the Dutch crew, thinking that they might well put in a push and maybe break through into one of those top 3 places. But it looks like they've given up the chase now, along with Estonia and Moldova. So it's going to be Italy heading down to the finish with Romania close, hot on their heels, and then Norway. It is these 3 crews who look the most likely now to go through to the AB semi-final of the men's double sculls. Still coming through tight, it's Romania, but they want to really make their mark here. But Italy are holding on. They put in a extra little acceleration to come down and ensure that first spot. It's Italy who take it by a length and a half ahead of Romania. And in third place, Norway are 3 qualifiers for our AB semi-finals of the men's double sculls.
Приключи втора последна репешажна серия от дисциплината двойка скул юноши. Първо място и полуфинал за лодката на Италия. На полуфиналите ще видим още и лодката на Румъния, която завърши втора, и лодката на Норвегия, която е трета. Останалото е в класацията: четвърто място Нидерландия, пето Естония и шесто Молдова.
We now move on to the repechage of the women's double sculls. 9 crews here contesting 4 semi-final spots. The 4 crews in this first repechage are Lithuania in lane 1, Germany in lane 2, Switzerland in lane 3 and Croatia in lane 4.
Програмата продължава с първа репешажна серия от дисциплината двойка скул девойки. Първи коридор с Литва, втори Германия, трети Швейцария, четвърти Хърватия.
So they're coming down to 600 meters. And Kat, we mentioned yesterday how, I think for the first time we said, women's double sculls has got the most entries in a World Championships here. 23 boats entered this event.
Yeah, what a chance for these nations to come together and race each other, Rob. So many crews here from all around the world. And with the pandemic situation, it's marvellous they can come together and get to race at this Junior World Championships. And here in our commentary point, we've actually got 2 new commentators to commentate alongside us, because there is in fact a swallow nest, a bird's nest inside this commentary point, and the birds are just fluttering around, coming in and out and making some tweeting sounds. So they're adding in their bit to this event here in the women's double sculls. And 4 boats here looking for 2 places for the AB semi-finals. Right now, Croatia are leading ahead of Germany. Lithuania and Switzerland just back from them by about a length. But coming to 800 meters, it's a tight repechage.
Стартира и първия репесаж при двойките ско девойки. Много добре стартира лодката на Германия, но към момента след 750 метра виждаме, че са почти на равни позиции с Хърватия. Даже лодката на Хърватия води с близо 4 метра половин лодка. На трета позиция е лодката на Швейцария. Литва също така не се е отказала от първи коридор и така преминават 1000-метровата отметка. Виждаме, че германките тръгват да правят по-силна или тръгват да правят своята атака. Все още начало е Хърватия с единно, следвана от Германия. На трета позиция вече е лодката на Литва и на четвърта Швейцария, като че ли нямат сили швейцарките да се борят за първите две места, които ще дадат право за попадане в полуфинали А-Б.
Moving away from this halfway point, it's very smooth sculling from this Croatian duo in the lead. Reina Rambaldo in the stroke seat, Luna Karatic in the bows, moving along very sweetly, and the German crew moving so well as well, keeping the Croatians under pressure. They're making their move now, just taking the rate up a little bit, and they're starting to close the gap. Colleen, they're coming your way, and for the first time in this race, Germany have taken the lead.
That's absolutely right, Kat. We see Germany just slipping into that first place position. What an exciting repechage this is. I can hear the coaches across the river on the shore just urging their athletes on. And whatever they're saying, well, it seems to have worked for Germany. In the stroke seat, that's Charlotte Luster, and in the bow seat, Daria Arndt. And they're just moving on quite nicely now at 36 strokes per minute. So it's Germany leading. That means Croatia has slipped back into third, and Lithuania still in contention to advance to the semi-final A-B. I'm afraid Switzerland has slipped back into fourth.
Наближавайки последно 500, все още нищо не е ясно, като първите три лодки продължават да са много близко една до друга, преследвайки двете места, които биха и класирали на полуфинал А-Б. Германките успяха, след като бяха втори на 500 и 1000 метра, да вземат първото място от лодката на Хърватия. Лодката на Хърватия на свой ред, бих казал, доста впечатляващо представяне, тъй като загребната Рейна Римбалдо е младша възраст и те доста силно тръгнаха, бяха първи на 500 и на 1000 метра, но както знаем, дистанцията е доста по-дълга и на 500 и на 1000 е доста относително, тъй като в момента те вече върват трети под натиска на литовската лодка, която от тези 4 даде най-бързо време на вчерашните серии.
So we've got 3 boats overlapped and just 2 positions qualifying for semi-final A-B. The remaining crews relegated to semi-final C-D. Germany still holding on to that lead. It's Lithuania in second. Croatia starting to slip back, perhaps recognizing that they're not able to put themselves in a position to do so. Switzerland holding fourth, but the battle continues, and in fact Lithuania gaining speed.
Наближавайки червените бочки, нещата лека по лека почват да се изясняват, като лодките на Германия и Литва, които, както ви споменах вчера, дадоха най-добри времена от тези 4 лодки. Макар и 4-те лодки да бяха в различни серии и малко това да е относително, все пак говори малко или много. Тяхната заявка на литовките става все по-сериозна, тъй като те вече превзеха първото място, навлизайки в последните 200 метра.
So, Rob, they're coming towards you. Lithuania slips into first place ahead of Germany, running second. Theodore and I can hear the cowbells of the Swiss team all the way here at the 500 to go. It's just fantastic, but it's looking really good for Lithuania and Germany. What an effort from Lithuania at 500.
Yeah, it's looking a lost cause for the Swiss, isn't it? Despite the rattling of the pots and pans. They are, of course, cowbells. But Lithuania, how impressive to come through and take that first spot for now, at least ahead of Germany. It's the first two, as we've been saying, who will qualify for the AB semi-final. Probably too much now for Croatia. They're not completely out of it yet, though. But Lithuania really making a mark here and laying down a marker. The other crews are going to have to look at them very carefully come the semi-finals here of the women's double sculls. It's Lithuania who are going to take this by a good length and a half ahead of Germany in second. Those are the two crews that will go through to the AB semi-final. And coming through in third and fourth, Croatia, and then finally Switzerland, and they will be contesting the CD semis.
Дами и господа, приключи дисциплината двойка ско девойки Първа репешажна серия, първо място и полуфинал АБ за лодката на Литва, второ място за Германия, трето Хърватия, четвърто Швейцария.
They're underway in the second repechage of the women's double sculls with Romania in lane 1, Denmark in lane 2, Ireland in 3, Czech Republic in 4, Thailand are back. They're in lane 5.
Стартира втора репешажна серия от дисциплината двойка скул девойки. Първи коридор Румъния, втори Дания, трети Ирландия, четвърти Република Чехия и пети Тайланд.
So they're around 750 meters now. And Kat, how lovely to hear about your swallows tweeting. I wonder how many followers they've got on social media. Clearly not feeling threatened by a prowling cat.
Rob, I think they're faster than me when it comes to moving through the air, so they're not under too much pressure at the moment. But the people who are under pressure are this duo in the boat from Ireland. They're leading this race at the moment, but hot on their heels are the crew from Denmark. So the Danish crew, Stina Nielsen, Letitia Panero-Bommer, they're moving very, very well. And that's holding them just about a length behind the Irish crew. We've got two going to the semi-finals from this repechage. Right now, Ireland and Denmark are the 1-2. The third place crew is Romania. They're just coming in sight right in front of our commentary position here. And the Irish crew out in the lead, looking very strong indeed, very strong. The pull through from the bowwoman, Holly Davis. She's hanging off the blades very nicely, and that's giving them a good lead now ahead of the Danes behind them. They've got a clear water advantage.
Преминаха 1000 метра, втори репесаж на двойки скул девойки, начало с много чисто, много спокойно гребане. Още от началото на дистанцията е лодката на Ирландия, която е влезла и с най-добро време в този репесаж. Спокойно гребат ирландките. Да видим какво ще стане с втората позиция. Към момента Дания като че ли е на спокойно второ място, но виждаме, че и лодката на Румъния, особено лодката на Чехия, тръгва в своята финална атака. Чехините като че ли така доста дигат темпото, дали ще успеят да задминат Дания. Ще се види в последно 500 метра, кой ще се класира в първите две позиции. Може би Ирландия твърдо ще бъде първа.
So Ireland continue to lead this 36 strokes a minute. Denmark behind them, also 36 strokes a minute. Colleen, they're coming your way, and we're seeing this sort of chevron formation forming now in the second repechage.
Yeah, that's right, Kat. Ireland holding that point out in front, 36 strokes per minute. Denmark just behind them. Perhaps a little bit surprising, to me at least, to see the Czech Republic running third, so what would be out of a qualifying position as just two will advance. The Czech in the prior round were just a couple of seconds off the Irish, so in different heats, but would have probably expected to see them a little bit further up. So we'll see in the third quarter, and of course now closing into the last 500 if they have another gear.
Изключително спокойно гребене от страна на ирландките, които грабнаха първата позиция от самото начало, се умяха да изградат своята преднина и към момента продължават да я задържат. От своя страна датчанките пък уверено още от 500 метра излезнаха на втората позиция и с не лош поглед към своите конкурентки от лявата им страна Чехия успяват да задържат поне до момента техните атаки, въпреки че в момента чехкините успяват да наваксат лека по лека и да задържат като че ли една идея по-висока скорост от лодката на Дания за по-дълъг период от време, а разликата между двете лодки вече е по-малко от половин лодка. Наближавайки червените бочки, все пак датчанките в момента вече се движат с по-високо темпо и увеличават своята скорост, но към момента тя все още е по-бавна от чешката лодка.
And it's ever so close now between the Czech Republic and Denmark. So tight. In fact, it's really hard to call exactly who's in front. It depends, I suppose, on who's in the water at that time. No doubt about it. The Irish looking so solid through the 500, really quick to the water, really dynamic, especially in the first half of the stroke. But the Czech Republic now moves into that second place position. So it was a patient race plan, I think, from them, and they decided to really make a go for it at the 500. That means Denmark in third, and it's just 2 to qualify for semifinal A, B. So Rob, as they come by the tower, you'll have to tell us how the Czech are looking and if they're still pressing towards the Irish in this final stretch.
I will do my best, Colleen, and it's looking very good indeed for Ireland. And how impressive have they been looking, as I say, here at this regatta, and they are heading down to the finish line for what will be yet another convincing win here for Ireland. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear the Soldiers' Song, the Irish anthem, come Sunday. I know I'm sticking my neck out a bit there. A little way to go until we get to that stage. But Ireland looking dominant here. They're going to win this by a good 3, maybe 4 lengths here ahead of the Czech Republic, who've pushed through now to take that second qualification spot. So it's Ireland in first. Czech Republic take second spot ahead of Denmark, Romania and Thailand.
Приключи втора репешажна серия от дисциплината двойка скул девойки. Първо място за лодката на Ирландия с 7:18:41 и полуфинал. Полуфинал за лодката на Чехия, финиширала втора, а останалите лодки Дания, на Румъния и на Тайланд за полуфиналите Б.
Onto the third repechage of the women's double sculls. The USA are in lane 1, Canada in 2, Netherlands in 3, Russia in 4, Slovakia lane 5.
Продължаваме с репешажната серия от дисциплината двойка скул девойки, трета серия и така първи коридор за Съединените щати, втори за Канада, трети за Нидерландия, четвърти за Русия и пети за Словакия.
So same qualification process, of course, as with the previous 2 repechage in this boat class. At the moment, Kat, how do you see this progressing? Looks to me as if Russia and the Netherlands are making ground here.
Yeah, they're really fighting it out here, Rob, at the front of the course. Russia had the fastest start, making it to the 500-metre mark as the leader. At that point, they had almost a 2-second advantage ahead of the Netherlands. The Netherlands have used this second quarter to move back on Russia. The Netherlands at 36, Russia at 32. And the Dutch crew have taken the lead and really stormed through Russia as they come to the 1,000-metre mark. The Dutch crew moving really well together. They're taking it along and they're 4 beats higher than the Russian crew. Here now a length advantage, they've taken that in about 10 strokes. So a great move from this Dutch crew. They're sitting in first place, Russia in second. These 2 crews look to be in a good shape here. They've got a little threat on their hands from Canada in lane 2. Canada just about a length back on Russia. And with 2 crews to go through, I think those 2 crews are going to come from this bunch of 3 because there's a great margin of clear water back to Slovakia and the USA.
1250 метра наближават лодките в третия репесаж на двойки скул. След хубавия старт, рускините взеха първо място на 500 метра. В момента са на втора позиция след лодката на Нидерландия. Наистина добре гребе лодката на Нидерландия и се е устремила към попадане в полуфиналите. Да видим кой ще се пребори за второто място, което ще даде право също за попадане на полуфинали. Виждаме атака на лодката на Канада, дали ще устоят рускините и дали Нидерландия, извинявайте, ще запази първото си място. Ще видим явно в последната част от дистанцията.
Colleen, they're heading your way. The Dutch are still in the lead and Canada really starting to make a move.
From the Canadians, they're at 32, 33 strokes per minute, so on par with the Russians who are rowing it at a 32, ever so tight. And it now is Canada running second, Russia out of a qualifying position, at least at the moment. Of course, there's still just about 600 meters to go. Now, this crew from the Netherlands, I've been excited to see them here at the juniors because we saw them at the Under-23 World Championship last month in Repechages, Czech Republic, where they had a really nice showing, finishing 10th overall, and of course, racing up an age category. So as they come by where Theodore and I are stationed, they're at a nice 35, but wow, are they making it look long.
След обещаващия старт от страна на руската лодка, бих казал леко разочарование след това. Дали толкова леко или по-тежко, тъй като към момента те излизат от крайно класиране в топ 12, тъй като бяха първи на 500, втори на 1000, но вече са далече на трето място след лодката на Канада. Лодката на Канада на свой ред пък след не толкова добрите първи 1000 метра след моста набра скорост и се движи с най-бързата скорост, като чак тук, когато минаха пред нас на 1500 метра, нидерландките вдигнаха малко своето темпо, за да изравнат скоростта си с лодката на Канада и да не бъдат застигнати. И така, наближавайки червените бочки, Нидерландия и Канада гледат, бих казал, спокойно към класиране в топ 12.
So they're coming towards the final 250 meters. It's looking really good for this Dutch crew. The Dutch crew was second at the 500-meter mark, and it was really in the second quarter where they looked to build speed. They're carrying that with them through to the end. So, Rob, as they come towards you, it's looking great for the Canadians. The Canadian crew had a fantastic third quarter, and it's looking very solid that they'll move on to semifinal A, B. Closest threat, I believe, is from Russia.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Colleen. And Canada are making good headway down towards the finish line here. And again, great to hear this support here from the crowds in the grandstand. And the Canadian crew finishing very strongly indeed. So they take the first of the AB semi-final qualification slots, but the big question is who is going to take that second spot? And it looks to me like it's probably going to be, it's Canada who've come through in second place. It's the Netherlands, I do beg your pardon, who took first spot. Canada in second. Those two countries are through to the semi-finals of the women's double sculls.
Приключи трета серия от репешажите в дисциплината двойка скул девойки. Първо място за лодката на Нидерландия, второ място Канада, трето Русия, четвърто Съединени щати и пето Словакия.
So to the fourth and final repechage of the women's double sculls in lane 1, Zimbabwe, in lane 2, Ukraine, Slovenia in 3, South Africa in 4, and Austria in lane 5.
Програмата продължава с четвърта последна репешажна серия от дисциплината двойка скул девойки. Първи коридор Зимбабве, втори Украина, трети Словения, четвърти Южна Африка и пети Австрия.
So, Kat, good to see Zimbabwe here. They've just got two boats here at this regatta, Stacey Dunstan and Donna Erasmus in this Zimbabwean double. But it looks like it's going to be a tall order for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it is at this stage, Rob. They've made it all the way here, and they're here competing in the repechage at the moment, riding in 5th place, and it looks like their progression will be to the CD semi-final. Another African crew, of course, in this race from South Africa. They're riding in 3rd at the moment, just behind Austria, and so in with a real shot at potentially qualifying for the AB semi-final. Slovenia are leading this. The Slovenian crew, Ruby Chop, daughter of Istok Chop, the famous sculler from Slovenia, Jana Dramelja in the bow seat. That crew at 33 strokes a minute, their advantage now a length ahead of Austria. So we've got, again, 3 crews looking to vie, I think, now for these qualifying 2 places. It's Slovenia ahead of Austria and South Africa. Back from them, Clearwater to Ukraine and Zimbabwe.
1000 метра преминаха лодките от четвъртия репесаж на двойка скул девойки. Спокойно гребане за Словения. Тя е лидер от началото на дистанцията и наистина като че ли в момента с по-ниско темпо успяват да поддържат своята преднина от една лодка. Може би все пак ще трябва малко да дигнат словенките, защото виждаме атака на лодката на Австрия от пети коридор, която непосредствено е последвана и от лодката на Южна Африка. Явно тези 3 лодки ще се борят за заемане на първите 2 места и за попадане в полуфинали А, Б. И така 1250 метра след началото на дистанцията Словения убедително води. На втора позиция към момента е Австрия, следвана плътно от Южна Африка.
So they're coming your way, Colleen, and the Slovenian crew still at 33 strokes a minute. A really nice rhythm coming from them.
Yeah, the Slovenian crew, they were about 10 seconds faster or so to the next fastest crew in the prior round. So perhaps not surprising to see them out ahead with a really nice 33 strokes per minute, moving at a great pace through the third quarter. The real battle, I think, between South Africa and Austria, they were less than half a second separated between these two crews, separate heats in the prior round. But on this occasion, it is Austria in that second qualifying position, making the best of it.
Изключително спокойно гребене от страна на словенските състезателки. Както колегите ви споменаха, те дадоха най-добро време от тези лодки в сериите и то значително по-добро от другите. Очакванията към тази лодка предполагам, че са доста по-големи от просто класиране на полуфинала АБ, тъй като знаете, също колегите споменаха, загребната Руби Чоп е дъщеря на Изток Чоп, който има пълен комплект олимпийски медали в същата дисциплина, така че сигурен съм, че те няма как да се задоволят само с класиране на полуфинал АБ. А пък на втора позиция убедително за момента върви лодката на Австрия. Искам в този момент да прикоя вашето внимание, който изгуби представа за времето в следващата серия, е последното българско участие за днес, така че който не е взел своята позиция на трибуните, нека сега го направи, тъй като съм сигурен, че Иван Йорданов ще има нужда от подкрепа в следващата гонка.
So Zimbabwe just coming through that 500 meters to go past where we're stationed, the stroke seat, Donna Erasmus and Stacey Dunstan in the bow. Up at the front of the pack continues to be the Slovenian crew, with Austria holding quite confidently onto that second place position, not in threat, I'd say, anymore from South Africa. So perhaps South Africa conserving some energy. Then it's over to the Ukraine and Zimbabwe. So Rob, we'll hand it over to you. It's looking really nice for the Slovenian crew, isn't it?
Thanks, Colleen. Yes, they look fairly comfortable, happy. I think that they'll be progressing, barring an utter disaster. I don't see that happening. And Austria also, I think they've got enough clear water now to separate them from a challenging South Africa crew. But it looks like for South Africa, fellow African nation Zimbabwe, along with Ukraine, it's going to be too much for them. Slovenia really powering home now in the final stages of this fourth and final repechage in the women's double sculls. So it'll be Slovenia and Austria who will take it through to the AB semi-finals. Austria still aware that crew from South Africa is on their stern, but I think there's enough safe distance. So coming through, Slovenia are going to take first spot. It's going to be Austria in second. South Africa, Ukraine and Zimbabwe will contest the CD semi-final. We'll see the other Zimbabwean boat in about 10 minutes when Kayla Calvite goes in the women's single sculls for Zimbabwe.
Приключи последната четвърта серия от дисциплината двойка скул девойки. Първо място за лодката на Словения, второ за Австрия, трета позиция за Южна Африка, четвърта за Украина и пета за Зимбабве.
We now have the repechage of the men's single sculls with Tunisia in lane 1, Bulgaria in lane 2, with Greece in 3, Moldova 4, Ukraine in lane 5, Russia in lane 6.
Дами и господа, внимание към тази репешажна първа серия от дисциплината скиф юноши, защото имаме наше участие. Първи коридор Тунис, втори коридор България и Иван Йорданов, трето Гърция, четвърто Молдова, пето Украина и шести коридор Русия.
Cat, always a little extra frisson of excitement when there's a Bulgarian competitor involved in the race. Ivan Yordonov in lane 2 here. How's he looking?
That certainly is excitement, Rob, because it's looking really good for him. Ivan Yordanov currently in second place, right alongside the Moldovan. They're being led right now by the Greek sculler Yassinos Exarchou, but it's looking very good for Bulgaria.
1000 метра наближават състезателите в тази дисциплина, където имаме и нашето участие на Иван Йорданов. Към момента начело е състезателя на Гърция Иван, дали втора позиция с Молдова? Наистина млад е нашия състезател и много внимателно подхожда в първата половина на дистанцията. Да се надяваме да има сили да се справи с състезателите на Молдова и Украина, което изглежда така доста по-внушително за него. И така да седим и да подкрепиме Иван. Първите две места от този репесаж ще попаднат на полуфинали А и Б. 1200 метра след началото на дистанцията. Начало е Гърция. За съжаление към момента мисля, че втора позиция е лодката на Молдова, следвана от България и Украина вървят почти на трета позиция.
It's really a fantastic repechage here. We've got two scullers to go through. The Greek scullers looking very good up there in front, and it's a battle still for second place. The Moldovan Nikita Naučić is starting to move ahead of the other scullers. Just two to qualify. Colleen, they're heading your way.
Yeah, it's an incredible sight as they are heading our way, Kat, because they are so tightly packed. No doubt about it, the Greek sculler out in front, the Moldovan sculler just behind him, but then it's ever so close between Bulgaria and the Ukraine. We know that it's just two positions to advance, but we'll keep an eye on local hometown favorite, the Bulgarian sculler. We've seen great work from the Bulgarian team so far today, so we'll see if that grandstand has an impact. For now, though, the two qualifying positions, it's Greece and Moldova out in the lead.
Върви четвърти за сега нашият лъв, но все пак има достатъчно време до финала, за да може да промени нещо той в класирането. Сигурен съм, че има нужда от подкрепа и има все още нещо, някакви сили в себе си, има какво да ни покаже. Тази сутрин всички български лодки бяха в първи репасаж, тази също е в първи, така че може би ако някой от вас е по-суеверен, би имало по-голяма надежда за това, че нещо може да се промени, въпреки че пък за наше съжаление сега минавайки пред нас имам добър поглед върху гонката и като че ли молдовски от украинския състезател са доста по-напред и според таблета за наше съжаление те се движат и двамата с по-висока скорост от нашия лъв, но това не пречи да го подкрепите и да му вдъхнете малко кураж, уважаеми приятели на гребането.
So Greece leads Nikita Naučić from Moldova out of lane 4, really being pressed now by Ukraine as they come in well into the last 500 and towards the red buoy zone. Continues to be Moldova holding on to that qualifying position. The Greek sculler looking so strong and fluid out ahead. Rob, they're coming towards you in the final 250, and it's looking like Moldova will be able to hold, but a nice press from Ukraine, I think, places a little bit of a threat on that.
Yes, it does, and that makes for a great spectacle, doesn't it? But perhaps not so comfortable for Naučić of Moldova to know that the Ukrainian athlete is hot on his heels, or hot on his stern as it is, but Iasanas Exarchou of Greece is doing really well here, and well, he's certainly holding on to that first qualification spot, isn't he? For Naučić of Moldova, he's going to still have to continue to work really hard to ward off that threat from Zakharov of Ukraine. For Ivan Yoranov, our local athlete here from Bulgaria, I think too far back now, along with Tikhonov of Russia and Mohamed Rayan Hafsa of Tunisia. So as they head down now into the final few strokes here, it's looking good for Exarchou of Greece. He's going to claim first spot here in this repechage in the men's single sculls, and second place is indeed going to go to Naučić of Moldova, and those two crews are through to the A-B semi-finals.
Дами и господа, приключи първа репешажна серия от дисциплината ски в юноши. Първо място в тази дисциплина, в тази серия е за лодката на Гърция. Второ място за Молдова, трето за Украина, четвърто за нашото момче Иван Йорданов. Много моля, искам да го аплодираме, защото има още много пред него какво да покаже. Пета позиция за Русия и четвърто за Тунис.
Second repechage, about 2 minutes or so into the race. We've got Cyprus in lane 1, Sweden in 2, Croatia in lane 3, Turkey in lane 4, Peru are in lane 5 with Slovakia in lane 6. We've got a couple of Peruvian boats in the next race, we'll also see Francesca Godella Bozzo go in the women's single. But how's our Peruvian athlete in lane 5 faring here, Kat?
Peruvian Scala, Rob, it's Octavio Alva Mostachero. He's here in lane 5, 34 strokes a minute from this athlete. He's moving his boat on very nicely indeed, and that's letting him maintain a place just ahead of the Cypriot Scala Roman Grebenin. That's the 5th and 6th place right now in the race. And right up at the front is the Croatian Davor Paljancic. His boat moving 31 strokes a minute, so low rate of striking from him. And he's just leading this race ahead of the Turkish sculler Eren Kara. The difference in terms of distance between these two scullers is just 4 meters, so about half a boat length. And they're coming right in front of our commentary position here and just under the bridge, which goes across the lake here just before the 1,000-meter timing point. And under that bridge right now is the safety boat. We have lifeguards on hand here in case any of these scullers were to fall into the water. And this boat has the fortune of being able to tuck into the shade here underneath the bridge, so they're out of this very bright sunshine that we're seeing here in this Plovdiv course. The temperature's starting to heat up here as we move into the afternoon, and the Turkish sculler now heating up his racing strategy as he's pushing away from this 1,000-meter mark alongside the Croatian.
1000 метра преминаха състезателите от втория репесаж на скифа. Начело бих казала, че си разменят позициите в момента състезателя на Хърватия и Турция. Плътно след тях е състезателя на Швеция. В момента и Словака тръгна в своята атака. Наистина в тази дисциплина скифа всичко може да се промени за последните 500 метра, така че едва ли към момента може да са сигурни водещите състезатели. Мисля, че Турция на първа позиция, следвана от Хърватия, че със сигурност ще се класират. Ще проследим гонката до край, както се казва.
So moving through 1250 meters now, Colleen, they're coming your way, and the Turkish sculler Eren Kara had pushed on through the middle stage of this race, but he hasn't managed to take much advantage against the Croatian Davor Poljancic, still leading the way.
That's right. They're moving through the third quarter and just approaching the 500 to go shortly. And it continues to be Croatia out in the lead. The Turkish sculler Eren Kara holding on to his advantage as well. I think one thing I've noticed is that the Turkish sculler Eren Kara rowing it up. Now he's at about 36. He's been at 37. But the Swedish sculler, who's still in contention, I would say, to advance to semifinal A-B, though it would take a bit of work, is down at 30 strokes per minute. So we'll have an eye on the Swedish sculler to see if he decides to take it up and really make a push for it. But they're just coming through the 500 now, and it's Croatia, Turkey, Sweden.
Балканска доминация, бих казал, в първите 3/4 поне от тази гонка. Турският и хърватският състезатели сякаш са се наговорили заедно да се класират на полуфинал А-Б. Все пак не бих бързал да отписвам състезателя от Швеция, който успява да задържи скорост близка до тяхната и да не е много далече от втората позиция. Макар че разстоянието до финала става все по-малко и все по-трудно ще става за него. Бих казал също, че впечатлящо представянето на словакът, който мина трети на 500 метра и се движеше не лошо до към 1000, тъй като той е все още младша възраст, най-младият, ако не се лъжа, най-младият от всички скифьори на това състезание. Така че никак не е лошо представяне от негова страна. И така, наближавайки червените бочки, продължават да водят хърватинът, който вече има може би лодка преднина пред състезателят на Турция, и вече състезателя на Швеция се движи все по-назад от втората позиция.
The Croatian sculler Davor Poljancic continuing to open up his margin then on the rest of the field. He takes a little bit more water from Eren Kara of Turkey. Those are lanes 3 and 4, and then it's over to the Swedish sculler Theodor Fritzsch out of lane 2. It's looking like time running out. The Swedish sculler brings it up to 38 strokes per minute. But Rob, as they close into the final stretch of this race, it's looking really good for Croatia, and I think Turkey has it locked down.
Yeah, it would look that way, wouldn't it? They've certainly been pretty much side by side, Poljancic of Croatia and Kara of Turkey, not really letting anyone else through the door. But Fritsch of Sweden still posing a bit of a threat, but maybe that's now died away, and I think it probably has. So coming down to the line now, it looked like it's going to be Poljancic of Croatia, who's going to take first spot here. It's a very well contested race as well from him. He takes it by a length from Erin Kara of Turkey. Those are the two through to the AB semi-final of the men's single sculls.
Дами и господа, приключи втора репешажна серия от дисциплината ски в юноши. Първо място в тази серия за лодката на Хърватия с 7:16:55. Второ място и за лодката на Швеция. Двете лодки отиват на полуфиналите АБ. Останалите трето място Турция, четвърто Словакия, пета и шеста позиция за Перу и Кипър.
We now move on to the repechage of the women's single sculls. 17 crews contesting 8 AB semi-final spots across 4 repechage. In this first repechage, we've got Denmark Haranes in lane 1, Alienkova of Ukraine in lane 2, Gardela Bozzo is our athlete from Peru in lane 3, Lagerpusch of Germany in lane 4, and Kalvait of Zimbabwe in lane 5.
Дами и господа, стартира първа репешажна серия от дисциплината ски в девойки. Първи коридор Дания, втори Украина, трети Перу, четвърти Германия и пети Зимбабве.
Same progression system as with the men's single. The first two through to the AB semi-final. As you've been telling us, Kat, of course, there's no telling what's going to happen between where you are and the finish line. But favourites at this stage from your vantage point?
Well, let's see, Rob, if I'm going to make a shout out to any of the athletes here as a favourite, then I think it's got to be the German sculler, Rianne Lagerpusch. She's come into this with a very good time from the heat stages, and she's moving her boat on very well during these early stages. She's at 32 strokes a minute. She's got a nice long rhythm, and she's holding advantage over Denmark and over Peru. That's the 1, 2, 3 as they come up towards 900 metres. There's clear water now back to the sculler from Ukraine and also back to Zimbabwe's Kayla Kalvait. So the leading sculler right now is Germany's Rianne Lagerpusch.
1000 метра наближава първата репесажна серия при скифа девойки. Първите две лодки се класират на полуфиналите АБ. В първа серия за сега от началото на дистанцията и към 1000-метровата отметка води Лагерпуш от Германия с близо лодка пред дъчанката Хорнес. Виждаме изключително добро представяне на състезателката на Перу Гардела Бозо, която в момента атакува втората позиция. Наистина вдига темпо състезателката на Перу и мисля, че ако не вземе ответни мерки, скоро дъчанката ще се озове на трето място. Това са трите състезателки, които ще се борят за вземане на първите две позиции. Останалите лодки са наистина на доста голямо разстояние. Украина и Зимбабве и едва ли имат шанс да се включат в гонката, както бих казала аз.
Moving through this third quarter, the German sculler still leads, and it's the Peruvian sculler Francesca Gardella Bozzo who's made her move. She's moved through into second place ahead of the sculler from Denmark, taking the rate to 35 strokes a minute, and now she sits in that second potential qualifying slot for the AB semi-final. So Colleen, the 1-2 as they come towards you is Germany and Peru.
Yeah, that's right, Kat. And in the prior round, it was the Peruvian sculler Francesca Gardella Bozzo who took the fastest time by a couple of seconds. But I think what's worth pointing out is the German sculler Lagerpusch, Rianne Lagerpusch, was not really threatened. So she finished fourth in her heat. At that point, she knew that she was out of the qualification. It was quite a punishing round with just the first crew advancing. So it's interesting to see her power kind of in this repechage and just how nicely she's able to move the boat on. So it's Germany holding first. It is Peru holding second, but I think we can expect the Danish sculler to make a push as we move through the last quarter as well.
Водят двете състезателки към момента, които дадоха най-добри времена на сериите. Това е малко относително, но все пак германката и перуанката дадоха времена с 15 секунди по-добро от това на състезателката от Дания, така че все пак Бих казал, че съществува някаква разлика дори и от времената от сериите погледнато. И така навлизат вече в последните метри първите две лодки. Състезателката на Германия води убедително и перланката я следва, като двете лодки поддържат най-висока скорост. Отличава се с техната скорост по-висока от тази на състезателката на Дания, така че бих казал, че трябва нещо по-специално да се случи, за да може състезателката от Дания евентуално да вземе място в полуфинал А-Б.
So Rianne Lagerpusch of Germany out of lane 4, still maintaining that lead. A really nice long 32. Closest to her, the Peruvian sculler at 36 strokes per minute, so rowing it quite a bit higher. These are our two leaders. I'm afraid the Danish sculler, well, there isn't much time left, and then it's back just passing through that 500-meter point. The Ukraine now through, followed by Zimbabwe. So, Rob, they're coming towards you. It's looking like another win here in this repechage for Germany.
Very much looking that way. What, 5.5 seconds or so separating them, her and second place Gadea Bozzo of Peru. And it's looking good for those two crews. And there's a big gap then down to Denmark, Ukraine and Zimbabwe. Still a little bit of a way to go here as they head down towards the finish line in the first of 4 repechage here in the women's singles. As I say, 17 crews. The remaining 3 repechage will all be 4-boat contests. 8 AB semi-final spots up for grabs. For the crews that don't qualify for those, it will be CD semis. And they're all relevant here in terms of rankings and placings on the World Rowing Order of Merit. So Germany coming down towards the finish line. Rianne Lagerpusch looking very comfortable indeed to take that first spot. They're really out on their own here, these two, aren't they? With Gadea Bozzo of Peru taking that second AB qualification spot.
Дами и господа, приключи първа репешажна серия от дисциплината ски в девойки. Първо място за лодката на Германия, второ място Перу, трето. Първите две лодки знаете, че отиват на полуфиналите АБ. Трето място остава за Дания, Украина и Зимбабве.
So all crews home in that first repechage, accompanied by a rather nice trombone. And we move on to our second repechage here in the women's single sculls with Aurelia Elliott of Austria in lane 1, Nicole Martinez of Paraguay in lane 2, Ekaterina Fedorenko of Moldova in 3, and Dainsnur Baykara of Turkey in lane 4.
Стартира втора репешажна серия ски в девойки. Първи коридор Австрия, втори Парагвай, трети Молдова, четвърти Турция.
Kat, they're heading your way, and just 4 boats now for 2 places.
Yeah, just 4 boats, Rob, and right now the best of those 4 boats comes from the Paraguayan sculler Nicole Martinez. She went through 500 in the lead, and coming towards this 1,000-meter timing marker, she's still got a lead of just about 2 lengths over the rest of the field. And then back from her, there's this battle forming between 2 scullers who are absolutely neck and neck, toe-to-toe, the Austrian and the Turkish sculler. So Aurelia Elliott and Dainsnur Baykara. These 2 scullers are really having a fight through this middle stage to establish the second place. But right up there in front, the Paraguayan, very strong sculling from her. She's leaning her body forwards during the drive phase, taking it through on her legs, then swinging back and just pulling those blades out of the water, moving on so sweetly in the recovery phase. So great sculling from the Paraguayan Nicole Martinez, and she leads this second repechage.
Много добре представяне на състезателката на Парагвай Мартинес в втория репесаж, която стартира прекрасно и все още 1200 метра след началото на дистанцията е начело с едно наистина много добро гребане. На втора позиция към момента е състезателката на Турция Байкара, като там имаше около 1000 метра малък спорт с австрийката, но мисля, че в момента турската състезателка е по-убедителна в втората си позиция. И така начело, близо 1250 метра след началото на дистанцията е Парагвай, следван от Турция.
Through this third quarter of the race, the Paraguayan sculler still leads, Colleen. And it's the Turkish sculler who seems to have made her way through to take the advantage for second place, Deniz Nur Baykara.
That's right, Kat. She's at a nice 32, 33 strokes per minute. And they're just closing in moments away from the 500 meter to go. And the Turkish sculler still gaining speed as she moves towards that 500 meter mark. No doubt about it, though. It's Nicole Martinez from Paraguay out in front, looking so solid. Really good swing, especially through the back half of the stroke. And it's allowing her to really push the shell away and hold on to that open water advantage as she crosses through 500 to go. Nice aggressive racing though from Turkey, closing the gap just a little bit. She's up at 32, 33 strokes per minute and now has overlap. Those are our two leaders. It's Paraguay, Turkey, then over to Austria and Moldova.
Бих казал до голяма степен ясно кои две състезателки заслужават да се класират на полуфинал А, Б, но все пак секунда невнимание може да коства това място, от която иде от тях двете. Парагвайката се умява все още да задържи с първото място, като за момента издържа атаките на състезателката на Турция, но пък туркинята на своя страна държи по-висока скорост в момента с една идея. Не, че има значение, тъй като и двете места дават промоция за полуфинал А, Б. Бих казал доста приятна изненада от състезателки и състезатели вече няколко гонки от представители на Южна Америка, които по принцип рядко се случват, но наистина приятна изненада този път. И така парагвайката и туркинята се движат значително по-бързо от останалите две състезателки и спокойно, бих казал, навлизат в зоната с червените бочки.
So Paraguay continues to lead, but what a nice second half from Deniz Nur Baykara of Turkey out of lane 4. She's about 10 meters or so behind that first place sculler from Paraguay, but she was third at the 500 checkpoint, and then she moved into the middle 1,000 into second place. Of course, it's just top two to advance to semifinal A, B. So Rob, they're now moving through the last stretch of this race, and it's looking really nice for Paraguay and for Turkey.
Yes, they can probably ease up a little, can't they? Because quite a gap now opening up. Good 8 seconds back from Baykara of Turkey and Aurelia Elliott of Austria. She's in third place, so outside those A-B semi-final qualification spots. The crowd erupt into applause as they've been doing throughout this morning's heats and repechage, and it's really great to hear that as well. So it's Martinez of Paraguay who comes down to take the first qualification spot in this second repechage of the women's single sculls, and Baykara of Turkey takes the second.
Приключи втора репешажна серия ски в девойки. Първо място и полуфинал АБ за представителката на Парагвай. Също така в полуфиналите АБ ще видим и представителката на Турция, която финишира втора. Трето и четвърто място остават за лодките на Австрия и Молдова.
So on to our penultimate race, race number 51 on your hymn sheets, the third repechage of the women's single sculls. 4 more crews then competing for these AB semi-final spots, with Ekaterina Luskotova of Cyprus in lane 1, Mia Bosquet of France in lane 2, Giulia Clerici of Italy in lane 3, and Hela Belhaji Mohamed of Tunisia in lane 4.
Дами и господа, бе даден стартът на третата репешажна серия ски в девойки. Първи коридор Кипър, втори Франция, трети Италия, четвърти Тунис.
Who's your money on in this one, Kat?
Well, I've got to say, Rob, that the Italian has come into this with a very fast time from the heats. She had the fastest time of all the non-qualifying scullers, the ones who didn't make it through directly to the semi-final. She posted a 7:57, which is a really fantastic time over 2,000 metres for a junior sculler. And so my eye is on her. Giulia Clerici leads this right now. She just had a small advantage over the Tunisian sculler at 500 metres. The Tunisian sculler really sprinting out of the blocks hard. She was in second place at 500, but now The Italian sculler has moved away and she's taken with her Mia Bosque of France. Mia Bosque in that second place and second qualifying slot potentially for the AB semi-final. So the Italian sculler really compressing at the front end. She's got very long strokes here. She's using the legs well and just bringing through the body at the end of the stroke. 33 strokes a minute from her.
И така вече върви третата репесажна серия от началото на дистанцията до 1250 метра. Наближават вече състезателките италианката Клеричи. Очаквано тя е с най-добро време от състезателките, които не са влезли директно от сериите тук. И за това е очакван лидер в тази гонка. На втора позиция до 500 метра беше състезателката на Тунис, но към момента е французойката Босквет и предполагам, че така и ще остане. Няма някаква голяма конкуренция за първите две позиции в тази гонка, освен ако състезателката на Тунис не дигне невероятен финал, но мисля, че към момента няма такава заплаха.
So heading your way, Colleen, and it looks like we might have already established the two qualifying scullers, providing nothing goes disastrously wrong here.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Kat. They're just coming towards us, moving, closing in on the final 500 meters or so, and it's looking really good for Italy and France. Italy at a 33, France a little bit lower at about 30 strokes per minute, but of course they can see the rest of the field behind them. They know the margin, and their job is just to keep moving along nicely as they are. They're getting a little bit more tightly packed, though. I would say the French sculler, that's Mia Bosque, making a bit of an effort as she crosses through the 500-meter mark. So while both of these two boats are really clear to qualify, barring any big disruptions, we'll see what they get up to in the last quarter, because it might well be France.
Сякаш са се наговорили отново състезателките на Италия и на Франция да се класират заедно на полуфинал А-Б. Дръпнаха от самото начало и продължават, т.е. не от самото начало, тъй като състезателката на Тунис беше втора на 500 метра, извиняйте, но все пак на второ 500 успяха да изведат тунизийката и състезателката на Кипър, вървейки спокойно към червените бочки. Състезателката на Италия все пак продължава да има лека преднина, макар че вече според данните от GPS-а, които имам, тя се разделя във всеки един загребок. Италянката беше единствената от тези 4 състезателки, която успя да гребе под 8 минути вчера, така че погледите към класиране напред бяха насочени със сигурност поне към нея. И така вече в зоната с червените бочки разполагат с наистина значителна преднина представителките на Франция и Италия.
So they're closing in then on the final 250 meters, and indeed it is Mia Bosco of France to just edge herself out ahead of the Italian sculler. So those two looking to qualify for semifinal A, B, the remaining crews relegated to semifinal C, D. But Rob, a nice press from France at about 500 to go.
Yes, Bosque's looking in great shape, isn't she? And Clerici of Italy looks happy just to stick alongside her. Maybe a little extra acceleration from Clerici there. That maybe she wants to try and make a point here. But I think Bosque has probably sensed that. She's pulled away a little bit further. And Bosque is probably going to go through to take this one first place and qualify for those AB semi-finals. So it's going to be Bosque of France, Clerici of Italy who make it through to the AB semi-finals. Of the women's singles sculls here, for the other athletes, Luskatovia of Cyprus and Belhaji Mohammed of Tunisia. We'll see them again contesting the semi-final CD.
Дами и господа, приключи трета репешажна серия в дисциплината скиф девойки. Първо място в тази серия е за представителката на Франция, която заедно с лодката на Италия ще се класират за полуфиналите А-Б. Трета и четвърта позиция остават за Тунис и Кипър.
Great here to still hear the support coming from the grandstand with Cyprus's Katerina Loskutova, I beg her pardon, coming down to the finish line now. Great finish, well done her. And we'll see her in action again in the CD semi-finals.
Дами и господа, предстои четвърта последна репешажна серия от дисциплината ски в девойки. Първи коридор за Съединените американски щати, втори за Румъния, трети коридор за Нидерландия и четвърти Португалия.
So we now move into our final race of day two, the fourth repechage of the women's single sculls. Must just mention to all the athletes not to miss out on going to the World Rowing merchandise shop in the athletes area down towards the boathouse. Pick up a shirt there with all the athletes' names on them who are taking part here today. Quite a good memento for everyone to take away. But let's turn our attention then to this final women's single sculls with Eva Harris of the USA in lane 1, Anna Maria Matron of Romania in lane 2, Marge van der Waal of the Netherlands in lane 3, and Beatriz Varela of Portugal in lane 4. So, Kat, we're just about 1,000 metres, and it's a nicely contested race.
It certainly is, Rob. Right up here in the front, we've got the Dutch sculler, Marg van der Waal, and Anna Maria Matran of Romania in lane 2. It's just half a length back from the leading sculler. So these two scullers with about a length and a half of clear water over third and fourth place. That's the USA and Portugal. They're moving down away from the 1,000-metre mark, and the wind, well, I call it wind, but it's just a gentle breeze. It's certainly coming from a different direction now. It's actually a headwind, so coming from the finish down towards the start, and that'll make just a subtle difference for these scullers in terms of how the boat feels moving through the water. So moving through 1,150 metres, still Netherlands leading the way.
1200 метра от последния репесаж при девойките. Начало е Вандервал от Нидерландия. Тя е начало още от самото начало на дистанцията, следвана от румънката Матран. Мисля, че поне това, което гледам като гребане и като атаки от страна на състезателките на Съединените щати и Португалия, едва ли ще очакваме атака в последната част на дистанцията и може би това ще са двете състезателки, които ще влезат на финал.
It's been another beautiful morning of racing here on the Plovdiv course, and Colleen, for the last time today, the sculler's heading your way, and it's Marg van der Waal from the Netherlands leading the way.
Thanks very much, Kat. It's been a pleasure to hear you and Violetta, and we really appreciate everyone tuning in, and of course, all of the fans and spectators in the grandstand. That's absolutely right. It's Marg van der Waal of the Netherlands out of lane 3 at 30 strokes per minute, moving the fastest on the course amongst these boats. Now, we saw her last month in repechages at the Under-23 World Championships, where she finished 10th in the Under-23 Women's Quad. So she's had a great season, and of course, looking to advance on to semi-final A, B, and she's doing it in style here, crossing through the final 500.
Тази гонка изглежда също почти предрешена, макар че остават цели 500 метра до финала, така че това ще ми даде малко време да се отклоним от нея, за да ви дам информация относно Иван Йорданов, който утре ще гребе на полуфинал CD или в 11.6 или в 11.12, зависимост от жребия, а останалите лъвове ще гребат в събота. Двойката без и четворката с кул ще гребат за място в топ 6 в събота, само че ще ви дам по-детална информация утре относно тях. И така, в последното състезание за днес, представителките на северните ни съседи Румъния и Нидерландия все по-спокойно се приближават към класиране в топ 12 или АБ полуфинал. Иначе казано, желая ви приятен следобед и до нови срещи утре.
So Marg van der Waal of the Netherlands out of lane 3, continuing to lead. It's the Romanian sculler Anna Maria Matran holding on to that second place position. But Rob, as they move towards the final 250 meters or so, I'm really impressed with the way that the USA, that's Eva Harris and Beatriz Varela of Portugal, have been having their own private battle, just open water back. So we'll have a look as they come through. And as Kat would say, for the last time today, I'll hand it to you. Netherlands, Romania, and a nice effort from USA and Portugal as well.
Indeed. Well said, Colleen. Thank you. And thanks to you and Theodor Andreev for your wonderful commentary again today. And also, of course, to Kat Holloway and Violetta Ninova up at the 1,000-metre mark. I know that they've really enjoyed commentating from these positions on the side of the shore here and get a fantastic feel for the racing as the crews come past. So, As we head down then to the finish line, it is Marge van der Waal of the Netherlands who's really taken control of this race. And we're really sort of two groups here. It's her and then Anna-Maria Matran of Romania. Great support for the USA Scala for Eva Harris coming from the grandstand here. But it's a very clear win for our Dutch athlete, Marge van der Waal in lane 3. She goes through to the AB semi-final, along with Anna-Maria Matran of Romania over in lane 2. And a real cheer for the final two athletes. Eva Harris over in lane 1 for the USA, and Beatriz Varela of Portugal here in lane 4.
Приключи четвъртата последна репешажна серия от дисциплината скиф девойки. Първо място и, разбира се, полуфинал АБ за лодката на Нидерландия. Заедно с представителката на Румъния ще гребат за полуфиналите АБ. Трета и четвърта позиция за лодките на Съединените щати и Португалия.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes racing here on day 2. We've seen some absolutely wonderful races out in the water, a really good competition throughout. So congratulations and thanks to the athletes for giving us some terrific spectacles out on the water. We'll be back again tomorrow morning, 9:30 local time here in Bulgaria. We're an hour ahead of Central European time. Time here now is getting on for 20 to 1 in the afternoon. So 9:30 tomorrow morning, we start off with the repechage, and then from 10:30, we'll have the CD semi-finals. So the crews we've seen in action today go through to the next phase tomorrow. So I've been Rob Curling. Thank you very much indeed for tuning in, for listening wherever you are, even if you're here as well in the grandstands. And of course to my colleague here, the Maria Pavlova of Bulgarian National TV. Maria, благодаря.
Аз също благодаря, Роб. Надявам се, че ви беше приятно. Това беше сутрешната ни сесия на втория състезателен ден от Световното първенство по гребане Пловдив 2021 за юноши и девойки. Така че видяхме и българско представяне днес, отлично представяне на нашите момчета. Ще чакаме с нетърпение техния развой утре. Разбира се, и постепенно вече ще разбираме и кои ще бъдат победителите в отделните дисциплини. Така че това е за сега от нашия коментаторски екип.